time I look at you, ooh, there can be no mistake. I've got my ways out of time. Where you gonna run? 'Cause you love the games that I play.
Next time, please don't block.
I'll be so cold.
difficult.
Think by now you should know you're going.
Living a dream.
So far, so good.
Taking you.
Thank you, guys.
Takes the win here in Barcelona.
Jason Mercier, he went with his instinct, he made the call.
There's the professional level, and there's the Ivy League.
Sebastian Pauli coming to terms with what he has just achieved. Nicky Corrin has done it! 2 main event titles!
Sebastian Mallets has gone from poker fanboy to poker champion.
This is why people love the EPT.
Hello, welcome to Prague and the PokerStars European Poker Tour, the final day of EPT 2022. The final day of this festival at the King's Casino at the Hilton Prague, and that means the second half of the main event final table. 4 players remain competing for a first prize of more than €1 million. It's James Hartigan alongside Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies.
And Nicholas Walsh.
We are back.
We are live. The trophy's on the table. The chip stacks are on the table. We are almost ready to go. And we want to hear from you over the course of the day, however long that day may be. You can use the live chat whether you're watching on Twitch or YouTube. You can use the hashtag PokerStarsTV on Twitter. One thing I would say is that there'll be a lot of fun stuff on Facebook and Instagram in the run-up to our live event schedule for 2023. Obviously, we've got the Bahamas, the PCA, and the PSPC kicking off the new year. And then we go full-on EPT 2023 from Paris in February. So lots of good stuff coming up on those channels. Make sure you are across them. But of course, we can't talk about the future until we talk about the present. 1,267 total entries in this tournament. This is the biggest EPT Prague main event of all time. And now, just 4 players remain. And for reasons I don't quite understand, we're doing yet another final table photo.
A Final Four photo.
Jordan Saccucci from Canada will come into today as the chip leader. Has a decent advantage over Istvan Pilhofer and Antoine Saut, who are tied around the 10 million mark, the 70 big blind mark. Junibara from Japan is the shortest stack, but with 25 big blinds, I don't think we'd say he's in the danger zone.
That's amazing.
And I missed, Joe, until we were preparing for today, that Obara is mainly a commentator rather than a player.
Thanks, Obara. Yeah, pretty wild. Thanks to Howard Swains for getting that into Obara's bio. Howard compares him, he says he's Asia's answer to James Hartigan.
Oh, wow.
And now going to EPT Prague.
I wonder if he has any idea who you are.
Oh, yes.
Probably not. So Obara got some work to do. Obviously, I think it's fair to say that the other 3 players have certainly proved that any one of them could win it. And of course, Obara could if he gets a double up early doors. This is what they are playing for now, with the elimination of 9th through 5th last night, losing Tonka, Parker Talbot on the last hand of the day. All now guaranteed nearly 362k, 470k for third, 658,000 for the runner-up, and more than $1 million for the winner.
Pretty sweet to come back to the final day knowing you're guaranteed 361,000 euros. And you're just a couple of double ups away from $1 million.
We have 69 minutes remaining of this level. If there's still 4 remaining, the next level is going to be 60 minutes. Okay? If we're down to 3, the next one's going to be 45. All right? So this is the only thing.
There we go. You heard it.
Is that what?
Slightly shorter levels today.
Yeah, so now we're at 4 players. The level's reduced from 90 minutes to 60 minutes. And as Sonny, who's looking after the main event, just explained,
Using this box?
if we get to 3, they'll reduce to 45, which we're used to from every other EPT we cover.
Correct. Question, though.
Yes.
Just a fun thing.
He said books here.
Over under, even though I hate when people misuse the term over under. Over under whether or not we finish in time for the soccer game. For kickoff of the soccer game.
I'll be honest with you, I do think it completely depends on how quickly we get down to 3 and when we go to 45-minute levels.
Right.
Oh, okay.
The world,
It's not beyond the realms of possibility that this is still going at 4 o'clock local time.
Other than Obara, they are quite deep, yes.
And we've already agreed. If that's the case, look, we've always said it's our objective, it's our aim to be done by the time the World Cup final starts. If we can't do that, we play on. We can't just abandon the tournament.
Yeah, it's not like the tournaments are children and we're my dad.
Antoine Saout. Excuse me. Antoine Saout, excuse me, with 69 big blinds. Nice.
There's someone in chat that thinks soccer is called football.
That's weird. I hope we're done in time for the World Series
There's a soccer. Let's
of
go.
soccer, the heads-up match.
I do love the fact that Pilhofer's still gone full squishy for today.
Yes. Do not change your clothes if you're running hot.
Additional time bank cards today, by the way. Look how many Jinabara's got. It's like a full deck of cards.
A black market time bank guy out back. Hey, what do you need? I got time bank cards.
Apologies to Kafka Tamura watching on Twitch. There is no such thing as Chat Pro Sunday.
Well,
None of you will be correct today.
Big only. There's the big one.
Sunday's the Lord's Day, which means I'm going to be swinging the band hammer
Big one.
generously.
Seems that the Prague Lurgy has got Antoine Saout as well.
Nothing a couple €100,000 can't cure.
Absolutely.
Maybe a mill ball.
I love the fact that Obara is using time bank cards as a card protector. Raises from the cutoff with King Jack. Saccucci picking up kings on the button on the first hand of the day.
Welcome back, boys. Straight back into the action.
Re-raises to 900,000. Blinds are still 100K, 150K. We'll play out the rest of this level. Got 69 minutes on the clock, I believe.
I mean, this has just been a sun run for Saccucci for, what is this, 6 days now?
Yeah,
I mean, 7 if
absolutely.
you count the first day we didn't cover.
Yeah, my guy's been getting a lot of really nice opportunities, a lot of really nice hands, and running really good in situations where he's been cold decked as well. Obviously, the 9s versus kings yesterday against Tonka.
Okay, well, Obara elects to call, playing a 3-bet pot out of position with King Jack offsuit.
I mean, how much trouble can you get in with King Jack versus Kings? It's not like the case King can hit.
But you can hit top pair. And now I wonder
sorry.
how much is Obara going to lose? Because if I look at stack to pot ratio, Nick, 2.1 in the middle, Obara's got less than 3 behind.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. I just don't see any way out at this point. SPR being 1, you've got King Jack, you've called a 3-bet, you've hit top pair with a fantastic kicker and backdoor clubs. You're just never getting away. I think we might actually see an elimination right off the bat here, guys.
Well, he's not the Japanese James Hardigan, because Hardigan would get away from this.
I would have folded to the 3-bet play.
Yeah.
I'm a huge net.
Biggest net in the world.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't have hated the fold pre-flop either, but I mean, if you're going to play this as a call pre-flop, you're just never getting away from this board.
He's got the king of clubs.
King of clubs does give him some more equity, absolutely.
So Saccucci's continuation bet is 1 million, which is a third of Obara's remaining stack. He announces all in. Saccucci calls, and Obara is drawing thin. Saccucci, a 4-1 favorite to eliminate Jinabara on the first hand of the day.
Let's make sure we announce all the chop outs.
He's got all those time bank cards as well, guys. Does that give him a bonus in some way, shape, or form? Does he get an extra card?
Nope. They become worthless unless he can survive. We could see some ugliness. We could get a sweat on the turn.
That's what everyone's going to get for Christmas if he doesn't win $1 million.
Okay, well, that does create chop-opportunities.
I suppose we should talk about the chop outs at this point, guys.
Absolutely. A 9 on the river for a chop. A jack on the river for the win. Any other card, and we lose Jinabara. The river is a king. It's a set for Saccucci, 2-pair for Ibarra, and he is KO'd in 4th place. And just like that, we are down to 3. Ibarra cashes for 361,950 euros. Everyone else now guaranteed the better part of $500,000. And Jordan Saccucci extends his chip lead.
Sayonara, Unibara.
Thanks for the pay jump. No problem. I don't mind.
Wow, that sucks, getting up extra early to play today, going out in the very first hand.
He gets to watch the soccer game now, though, guys. Guaranteed.
Okay, so we now know that all subsequent levels will be 45 minutes. So again, we'll play out the hour that's left on the clock of this blind level, and then it'll be 45 minutes for subsequent levels.
Here's a comment that's going to make James happy from WikiSean. Took longer for the photo than it did to lose a player. In fact, I heard that they're going to pause the clock to take a photo of the final 3 now.
Couple glamour shots, 20-minute glamour shots.
One where they're laying on the table. One where they're all jumping in the air. So all fun and games now that we lost the relatively short stack. They're deep now, though, my babies. Loving Shrag in the chat, continuing to bang the gong for us soccer sayers.
Okay, so Perlhofer versus So. This is a blind-on-blind confrontation. Second hand of the final table. First hand of 3-handed play. So with a diamond draw.
This is why you always play your suited cards. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's true right now.
You do very frequently play your suited cards, yes, especially in these blind v blind spots. They're deep enough to where you're going to want to play every single one of your suited hands from the small blind in some capacity, whether that be a limp or a raise.
When your thread's up, especially, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, I'm actually going to be kind to someone who's being particularly unpleasant on YouTube. MH says, absolutely dumb of PokerStars to hold the final table on the World Cup final day, an event held once every 4 years. I would be more accepting of that criticism if the World Cup was taking place when it's meant to take place in the summer. But if the World Cup is in the winter, during EPT Prague, which has happened at this time of year every single year since 2007, forgive us for not making way for a football match.
I think if you check the record books, you'll see that the EPT predates the World Cup by what? At least a couple of years.
I mean, I think it's pretty inconsiderate for FIFA to hold the World Cup on what is obviously an EPT day.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously we're doing everything we can to get the action finished so that everyone, the players, the tournament staff, everyone watching at home can enjoy the football afterwards. The whole plan is to be done by 4 o'clock local time. But equally, we all know, less than ideal location, less than ideal time of year. Is that there's only so many concessions.
Less than ideal sport. Sorry, look, in all seriousness, some people, what are you supposed to stop the entire world for today? Because some people got to kick a ball around?
I think Strag has a good point in the chat here. Fun fact, there have been more EPTs than World Cups. So you tell me which one is bigger and more important.
Yeah.
Amen, buddy. Amen. Saccucci's going to limp his small blind here, 8-5 off. Mr. Saud. Now, I was going to say, Joe, I feel like Saud obviously being an absolutely incredible player in the first place, but also picking up on the slightly more passive tendencies of Saccucci that we've seen thus far over the last couple days in this final. I think he's going to exploit that maximally. If there's a limp in that situation, he's going to be raising it. And if 9-3 off is part of that range, I think it's safe to assume it's pretty much going to be, you know, ATC at this point.
I mean, there's no one at this table that has more big stage final table experience than Antoine Saud.
Yeah.
Even more than Tonka. who went out in fifth place last night.
He's just so collected, right? He's just sitting there. He's got his fleece on, just cruising down to final 3. No big deal.
He doesn't have to act like he's been there before. He's been there before.
Arnav on YouTube says, James Hartigan, say hi to me, please. Hi to me, please.
Thank you for your question.
Antoine opening up the pot. You guys were three-handed. You know I love this. You know I'm all about the three-handed.
Three-handed, or as I like to call it, threads up.
Threads up, yeah.
I be honest with you, when we kind of came into this second half of the final table, I did posit the theory that if Ibarra went early, I don't think he'd go on the first hand, but if Ibarra went out early, that these 3 players might look at a deal, considering how deep they are.
Well, he's out of earshot now. It's a good time to bring it up.
I mean, no one suggested it.
Yeah. Do you think it's because they think that Saccucci might not want to deal with the chip lead?
350.
I think there's a chance that Antoine, having so much experience, would probably just never be down for that, to be honest.
And I guess the fact that they are so deep means that you have more of a skill advantage, which you can then leverage against your opponents.
But now that the levels are shorter, if there's not a lot of movement and the blinds go up, up, up.
Yeah, that's a solid point. It maybe fast forward a couple of hours from now, and if we're still three-handed and they're still kind of an around similar stack sizes, maybe the conversation turns to that point.
I don't want to tempt fate, but we've had three-handed matches go 6-7 hours before.
Yes.
And that's not to the end. That's from three-handed to heads up I'm talking about.
I'm really interested to see how it plays out, though, over the next couple hours, because, as we've noticed, Saccucci obviously playing on the tighter side in many situations, both pre and post. And obviously, you guys know the shorter handed we become, the more of a leak that becomes, right? The more punishing it is to play fewer hands because you pay the blinds so much more frequently, and aggressive opponents can just squeeze you out of pots so often. So as we get deeper into the threads up action here, really interesting to see how these stacks are going to
I'm sure everyone
adjust and sway in the new circumstances, the new dynamic of the three-handed play.
I'll take this question from Alex Chang on YouTube. Alex says, hi from Hong Kong.
Hi.
What is your commentary setup like? Are you in the room with the players as well, or watching on a set from home? We are at the Hilton Prague. We are at the venue, but not in the same room as the players. Obviously, it will be slightly awkward to be talking about them within earshot. And bear in mind that there is also a disconnect in the sense that we would be talking about hands that happened half an hour after they've been played, which would be a bit weird.
Yeah.
Have we put the Pillhofer squishies into production yet, James?
We have hit a snafu.
Okay.
Obviously, we need him to sign on the dotted line. We are going to need a licensing deal. Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, you can't just use someone's likeness and do whatever you want with it, which I was very disappointed to find out.
You can't?
No.
What if you just call it Hungarian Poker Pro?
Shrag says, I got to say, I'm liking the early start to the final of the FT. Making a coffee, sitting down to poker on a Sunday morning just feels so right. I totally agree, actually. I would rather we do this every time. This is wonderful.
Well, of course, Joe, when we do online streams of like series like Scoop, W Coop, Sunday Million, that's early morning for you, right?
It is. I got to tell you, no matter how long this takes, I'm not obviously a soccer person. I'm excited to get that out there to Prague and maybe take in a dinner somewhere, maybe go back to the Christmas market, maybe find that Czech taxi I've seen so much of on the internet.
Don't we all, Joe? Don't we all?
I told you, I saw that taxi at Pinewood Studios.
I thought you saw the English version.
Yes. It was actually a really weird day. Would that have been like summer 2019?
Didn't you see Bond, Star Wars, and Fake Taxi all being shot?
Correct. It was
studio lot.
What? We were basically doing some lighting tests, some equipment tests, and we'd rented a soundstage at Pinewood Studios. We had No Time to Die filming next door. they were doing pickups for the Rise of Skywalker across the lot. And yes, we spotted the fake taxi on one of like the side streets on the studio.
Oddly
lot.
enough, the episode of Fake Taxi was also called Rise of Skywalker.
You hear, man?
No, honestly, I'm not tired.
Did you crane your neck super hard, like walk past the Bond stage like 700 times?
6bet, 150.
That must have been tough for you.
I saw the guy who played the Russian scientist was wandering around a lot. I did not see any of the other cast, but apparently Lashana Lynch complimented Justina on her dress.
Oh, wow, cool. What would you have done if you'd seen Leia Seydoux?
I'd have been very happy.
Not that I think you would have done anything. I just know that the few times, like the very few times I've seen like a real star, like I got a little weak in the knees. I'm not gonna lie, like a lady star. I think Leia Seydoux would be one where I'd be like, oh.
Pilhofer opening on the button with ace-king. Soat in the big blind with 3-4 of hearts. Or 4-3 of hearts. We had that debate yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, I think there's some that it just sort of flows off the tongue. 7-8 is one of them.
And the crowd goes wild.
I mean, that might be the biggest rail.
Water. Oh, thank you.
Antoine, give him some of your Evian.
So Saccucci with 15.5 million, near enough. Pilhofer 12.3, Soat with 10 million. All three players pretty deep. Lines remain 100,000 at 150,000.
Saccucci on the dealer button with ace-4 off. 15.43 milli behind. You're basically always going to want to play this, especially at this effective stack depth. Pretty much any ace on the button is good.
Quick shout out to Travis, says, I don't know why I'm still up, but I'm watching from Vegas. Almost 3 a.m. there.
Shout out to my mom in the chat. Everybody say hi to Lisa.
Hello, Mrs. Nick's mom. Diamond on the turn, gives Pilhofer a flush draw, but it is a pair now for Saccucci.
I love that. Good morning, chat. And my boy! He's my special boy!
He's my son. He's my special boy.
Hi, Nisha's mom. All right, Pilhofer. That is exactly the card he was looking for. 2 pair for Saccucci. Oh, wait, just checks
Flush.
the back. Nice.
Oh, 2 pair versus the flush, yep. Rastlin asking if there's been any deal conversation. Nope. Other than us, we talked about the prospect of the players doing a deal, but the players themselves haven't raised it as a subject. Gustavo asks bets for the other big final today. The high roller?
Thank you.
Who's still in?
I was thinking even the king high can be good. Well, it wasn't.
20 players returning for day 3 of the 10K high roller. Among them, Conor Beresford, Mike Watson, Ari Lodge.
So going to open the button here with 5-3 suited. Big fan of this. Big fan of this wider button open here. Pilhofer, small blind 8-7 suited.
Jack Sinclair, Steve O'Dwyer, Davide Katai also returning for the final day of the 10K.
Might be tempted to 3-bet this one. Looks like he's reaching for chips.
1,075,000.
And he is going to put in a sizable 3-bet. 1,075,000.
4 plus.
And it works. There was a huge coffee spill at breakfast this morning. Pillhofer walked by and the hoodie just soaked it all right up. Completely dry. Just wrung it out. Ready to go.
He is on the button. King 3 off on the button for Pillhofer.
If Pillhofer wins, Joe, and you get to present him with the trophy, you've got to give him a squeeze.
I don't know if I can do that.
I want to know if he squeaks.
Would you say the same thing if Gail Bauman was wearing a fluffy hoodie?
I would basically say that we should mix things up, and maybe I should go down to the stage
and give it a squeeze. Pocket 10s for Saud. Here we go.
Nine.
900,000. Love this size from position here. Don't have to go for the full 3x when you have position. Saccucci is going to come along. He is Omega dominated here.
Saccucci with the Spraggy. Ace 7 offsuit.
Really affected Saccucci all that much in the past to be mega dominated.
King Jack Jack 10 still good, so a 4-1 favorite.
If anyone can counterfeit 10s, it's Saccucci.
I'm right in saying that Saccucci was at our first feature table, right, on day 2?
He was indeed.
Took the seat that was initially vacant next to Sam Grafton.
I only remember because Griffin was like, I know this guy.
Bet on the turn and a take it. My mom's figured out how to use emotes in the chat, and I've never been prouder.
Great.
Yeah.
That's how she felt when you figured out how to use a toilet.
Well, I raise your mum using emotes. I finally taught my mum how to send a text message on a mobile phone.
Oh,
wow.
On her jitterbug?
A what?
Here, I'll show you. I don't know what the name of it is in the UK, but...
On the button now, Saccucci ace-8 off. Going to go ahead and open up this pot. Fold from the small blinds. 9-4 off. Might get all the way through. It does indeed.
They're called easy phones here.
What the hell are they?
It's phones for old people.
Oh, no, she has an iPhone.
I love you, chat.
Someone has to.
Hand number 15 here in Prague. Antoine Saut on the button, ace-5 off. Going to be raising this up, I imagine. Makes it the absolute min, 300K. Pillhofer folds, and a defend from the queen-8 off from Saccucci. Like this defend. Seems reasonable. Board is 8 high.
8 high flop. Top pair for Saccucci.
Check. Too bad. 250.
Saccucci's still running relatively hot.
I think when the flop goes check check, I prefer a larger lead on the turn from Saccucci here, Joe, because you really want to punish the cards, the over cards. You want to punish the spades in particular as well. Sometimes you'll have a hand like ace-5 of spades where you can definitely get way more when you have a really strong top pair. And just immediately checks the river. You know, again, I wonder if he might have missed some value there. It feels like a spot where you can definitely put in some more chips and probably get called by some random 6x, some deuce x, some 3x, even some like ace highs that have a flush draw on the turn or something like that. But
he's not the most aggressive player,
no,
Saccucci.
absolutely not, and it's working for him as well. It's he's just finding good spots and getting paid.
So we've just got the 2 chip denominations now, right? The red and black 100Ks and the yellow and red 25Ks.
Those are the ones.
Six plus. To go.
Shipham says, Nick and Brian Rast have the same voice. Cannot tell them apart, lol. Well, as Brian Rast doesn't work on the EPT, I'd say with 100% certainty that it will be Nick you're listening to.
Nick, you got any hot takes on fat people?
What?
225. 4 pots.
Oh, Antoine, what
did you guys share a beer earlier this week?
I empathize. Well, we probably both came into contact with Griffin. Hashtag, you know what.
Griffin always looks like he's like like there's rage bubbling under. Like he could just freak out at any moment.
350.
Pocket trays for Saccucci.
4 pots. 6 call.
(6-4) misses pretty hard, although an 8 would make 6-4 the winner. The dummy end.
2 bet. 250.
2 live undercards, a bad straight draw, a bye-bye.
With today being the last day of EPT Prague, it stands to reason that it's also the last day of mini EPT Prague.
Oh, right, yeah.
That means just 3 low buy-in MTTs left to play.
We might be off air by the time the mini EPT kicks off.
We probably will. So there's a $3.30 8 max deep stack starting this afternoon, but this evening, this is the big one, right, guys? This is the one that everyone should be playing. And 238 players have already registered. It is a $5.50 mini EPT Prague main event. And this is the one that not only has EPT Paris satellite tickets added to the prize pool, but will also award an EPT Paris package worth more than 7,000 euros to the winner.
It's so sick. I would love to win a package.
That's a lot of added value, guys. For a $5.50, that's pretty absurd.
6 raise.
All right, well, so raising Jack 10, Pillhofer 3-betting 57 varieties of Heinz.
Ketchup, mayonnaise, and mustard.
Pillhofer is enjoying the some of these sort of suited connectors, suited gappy connector kind of 3-bet situations. This time Saud is going to look him up, though. Does have the best hand pre-flop.
And away we go.
Okay, so top pair for Saud, second pair for Pillhofer.
I'm never sure how to navigate these spots, Nick, when you sort of get a little out of line with your 3-bet. I know it's 3-handed, right? So it's not crazy, but then you hit a pair, and maybe it's the best pair, maybe it's not.
Yeah, this is, I talk about this on stream a lot. Like, it's kind of the same dynamic as when you're like blind v blind, your opponent limps a small blind, you raise as kind of a bluff, but then you connect in kind of a medium way on the flop.
Yeah.
It's almost sometimes better for you not to connect where you can just bluff your ass off,
right?
Like flop turn river, right? When you actually have some kind of like medium showdown now, it can be difficult to know what to do. I think in this particular dynamic, 3-betting from the small blind, I think you continue just to protect your hand because you will have the best hand with the 7 quite often.
So you like a protection bet here?
I think so.
Saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I really like to continue from Pillhofer here. I think that's exactly what you should be doing. I mean, if you're not going to take it down right here, right now, it's really difficult. I mean, what's the alternative? If you check, you're pretty much giving him the keys to the Lambo. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So
it actually sort of applies in this case.
it actually does kind of apply. Yeah.
So it raises to 1.4 million. Over asking, is Pillhofer from Hungary? Yes, he is. Used to play poker professionally, but then in 2017 opened a hotel and restaurant on the southern bank of Lake Balaton in Hungary and had to survive the pandemic, but says the business is now doing well. Still plays poker from time to time. Recently won a huge tournament in Budapest, and here he is now in the top 3 in EPT Prague.
And if you're going to book yourself a room at Pillhofer's Hotel in Lake Balaton, make sure to use checkout code STAPES for free breakfast and a copy of USA Today every morning.
Okay, so there was a raise on the flop, and Pillhofer did make the call. Interesting turn now, giving Pillhofer a gut shot to go with his pair of 7s. I wonder if Saccucci slows down on the turn for fear of running into an overpair here, right? This is a 3-bet pot. And it could be that Saccucci goes, well, I don't want to be barreling off into like jacks, queens, kings. I think a continue is totally fine as well, Joe. I'm just saying, you know, this might be something going through his mind at this point, given the
He's certainly going to consider it.
Yeah. Oh, really considering it.
Do you ever just have a feeling that they don't have an overpair? Is that a thing?
Sure.
Oh, you were right, though, Nikki.
Don't worry, Joe.
I have to take the other side. It's not as interesting if I go, okay. 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold on. 3. Nope. Okay. It's just a...
Okay, but what I will say now, Joe, is if Pillhofer checks...
Yeah.
Then, given the action on the turn going check, check, I wonder if he finds the value bet now. But honestly, I'm not sure. I think he probably plays it safe and does the check. He does indeed. And Saccucci will be taking his pot. Very, very considerable pickup. There was a lot of chips in the middle there.
5.2 million chip pot heading in the direction of Antoine Saccucci. A player we've talked a lot about over the last few days. Probably the best known, most accomplished player remaining. 2 World Series of Poker main event final tables. Made the FT at EPT Monte Carlo in 2016. Obviously originally from France, but lives in London, so he continued to play online in the global player pool. And is a regular on the European circuit.
Canary Wharf, that's pretty close to where I used to live in London.
6 raise, 350.
Nice part of town.
Pillhofer's button raise, King Jack, so with 9-6 off in the big blind. And we have got an 8-7-4 flop. So now with 48% equity, with live cards and the straight draw. And that bet from Soap will win him the pot. Well, we just had 40 minutes of analysis from Niche. Now it's time to welcome Griffing to the booth.
Hello, everyone.
Mr. Benja, how are you today?
Very, very well.
Did you eat anybody's money in the last 12 hours?
Going to present that trophy today, plus a 7-figure score for the winner.
I hope that it's not chocolate under there because it might not make it.
I haven't taken anyone's food the last 12 hours, but I will say Passing our producer here, I was looking at that banana for a second, but I decided not to take it. I thought it might be a trap.
You're so lucky, you're so lovable, Griffin.
I would love to see
Count my
Griffin
lucky stars.
run down there and try to take a bite out of the trophy.
No, I know it's not edible because I have one just like it at home.
Ah, all right. That's good. Good comeback.
Okay, Jack 9 versus 6s going to the flop.
Ooh, baby.
And it's a set for Soat.
Who doesn't love a set? Always bet your sets.
Especially against a player like Saccucci, who you know is not going to... Ooh.
Always bet your sets. Street flash potential.
So what, you want to bet the set on the flop and get no action?
Correct.
4 bet, 200.
And this small bet, in design, I believe, was to induce something like this from some sort of combo equity hand.
Now, are you happy about getting raised here on the 5-6 on the coordinated board?
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't mean you need to play for stacks.
Uh-huh.
But it just means that you're probably in the face of a bluff in a pot that's not going to get crazy inflated, that it's going to risk your tournament life in that, you know, ICM jump from second to third. And that's why we just see a call too, you know, in the event that Saccucci does have a flush, you don't want to just get in for a 25 million chip pot, keep the bluffs in there, and then pay off the flushes, which sometimes just come anyway.
Oh, gross.
4 check.
Saccucci continues running relatively hot.
2 check.
Gets checked to showdown, and this pot will go in the direction of Jordan Saccucci, increasing his chip lead at this three-handed final table.
I feel like even I would make some of these river bets that Saccucci is checking back, but he's got 111 big blinds and a 5K, so what do I know? Abenazar says, what a bad play from Sal. Griffin, what day is it today? What day of the week?
I think it's Ben Chat Sunday.
And it is not Chat Pro Saturday. Thank you for your comment, Ebenezer, but you're banned.
Four raise, 300. 6.
It's Soccer Showdown Sunday.
Big old soccer game happening today.
You know, being from North America, I'm used to Sunday being about football.
Right,
you know?
but
that's when they play football in
not
America.
About football today.
No, it's not about football.
Weird.
It's about
It's
soccer.
Sunday, but they're not playing football.
We're making an exception just for the morning of Eastern time, you know?
Right.
Starting at, what, 10 a.m.
4 bet.
back in the U.S.?
Yeah, the football comes later.
And then football will come
after
on
the soccer.
After the soccer.
Yeah.
Go.
And the ace
Check.
pairs on the turn for Saout. Saccucci with no outs, but hit a set on the river.
4 bet. 625, 650, 2 plus.
I like when people call American football hand-egg ball. Because by that logic,
Yeah.
football would be a ball in the shape of a foot.
So reminder that once we are wrapped here in Prague, the next big live event on the agenda for us and for many of the players here will be the PokerStars Players No Limit Hold'em Championship. The PSPC now a month away, starting January 30th, part of PCA 2023, which starts on the 22nd. All 5 days of the PSPC streamed on Twitch and YouTube, plus 5 days of the PCA main event. So we actually kick off 10 days of live coverage on January 25th 10K PCA main event, followed by the PSPC. What a way to start a year.
I mean, we're calling it start a year as if it's some far off 2023 sounds like the future. That's like 3.5 weeks away.
Correct.
350.
It is not far off at all.
Do you want to get him or shall I?
You go ahead. You go here. Enjoy my hammer. Ba-da, bop, ba-da, bop, bop.
Do you guys have any New Year's revolutions for 2023?
I'm probably going to do another sober month after New Year's Eve. You might be seeing a sober Stapes in the Bahamas, which is probably going to save me a lot of money this year. When I check out of the PCA, usually my room bill is usually around third place money.
So both players with a 3. Plenty of opportunities here.
So big blind's 150K?
Correct.
And you want to get this done by 4?
I think the big blind's 200, isn't it?
Nope, 150K. It will go up in about 20 minutes' time. Now we're down to 3 players, Griffin. The blinds do go up every 45 minutes.
Okay, that's good. Because they are about 280 blinds in play, if my math is correct.
Aware of that.
Well, this could be huge. Both players with a 3.
Some, you know what they say, potential on a river queen, or no, 6 is no good.
3's not playing. Said at the start, guys, that there is the possibility this does go beyond 4 p.m. Obviously, we'd like it to be done, but we can't guarantee it.
So pretty impressive today. I might be feeling a little Saout. Might be his time.
By the way, those of you saying you want action on whether Joe can stay sober during a live event, I kind of feel that I have a responsibility to protect your finances. I have been to numerous EPT stops where Joe has not drunk.
Every once in a while, I do a little.
When you commit,
dry
you
spell.
commit.
Yeah.
And I give you credit.
It would be hard to hold you accountable, too, because every time you do get drunk, you just get blackout and you won't remember. So you'll be, I haven't had anything.
I'll remember everything. That's right. Oh, my goodness. Again?
Pilhofer opens in the small blind with 8. Saccucci picking up kings for the 2nd time today. Re-raises.
These situations are so brutal in threads up poker because you can't fold. Can't fold the 8s.
But when you're this deep, you can just call. And I imagine that is...
And then never see a flop you like. So Pilhofer commits another 800,000 chips. 2.5 million in the middle, going to the flop. which is Jack 9 deuce.
Another wonderful flop for kings.
Check.
Pelhoffer playing in float. Checks to Saccucci.
Million?
Sorry?
Million?
1 million.
Bet of a milli.
I can understand getting a little attached to eights here. But is it just me, or is Saccucci not like a big million chip better with with nothing?
Yeah, that's definitely a large part of it.
His
also, even if he is just bluffing, like let's just say he has ace 10, can still just get there. Can still turn a queen and backdoor a straight or something. So it just gets tough.
Yeah, James.
I just don't see Saccucci continue 100% of the time. He will often check back.
Checks back,
flops.
and if he is going to like c-bet for
Very
the
well
sake of
said.
it, I just don't think he's saying million. We have the benefit of having watched every second of every day of his play, though, and Pilhofer, although has access to the streams at nighttime, maybe just doesn't want to use those 8-hour turnarounds to watch a 12-hour stream.
I mean, I know that Pilhoff has a lot of friends here who are also watching the stream on his behalf and giving him notes.
Such a crazy turn card.
That's 2 million.
It's just so nice for kings. It's
Oh,
like
right, yes.
the red deuce. It's like
Yeah.
doesn't get any better, you know?
Yeah, this...
It's crazy because it's not crazy, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just like it can just never improve his hand. Like
such a blank.
The bet has doubled on the turn. Now 2 million from Saccucci.
AJ Fig says Saccucci would have to continue ace king, ace queen, ace 10 in position most of the time. 8-8 is a fine call. AJ, I think what you're ignoring is the fact that even though the book says you're supposed to do that, and a lot of players would play that way, we've been watching Saccucci for 5 days now, and he does not always play that way.
yeah. Also, who reads books anymore? Nerd.
What a nerd. Paper? Ugh.
Oh, the old resigned chips on the stack move.
Pilhofer finds a fold, gets away from it.
I almost tripped on you.
Almost?
Yeah.
Well, you almost finished third.
Like pre-flop or on the flop?
Pre-flop. I mean, now I almost tripped on you.
Oh, like on the turn?
No, on the 2 million, yeah. Almost said all in.
Oh, well, now you said it. Is that binding?
You played like king or ace king like that. I will see.
You'll see.
I just don't think Saccucci plays ace king, ace queen that way.
Information right now.
It doesn't make any difference.
A little bit. Slight.
No, you see 8's three-handed, and it feels like aces, right? You're
Yeah.
like, oh, this is so strong. And a lot of the time it would be. It would be much stronger against lots of other players in that spot. Lirar asks, how did Obara bust? He got all his chips in and did not have the best hand at Showdown. Thank you for your question.
Good little comment here on Twitch. Griffin Benger is a good commentator. Hi, Mom.
Fine.
Right, 500.
5.
Seeing some trickle-down economics here. Saccucci taking chips from Pilhofer and Saud. taking chips from Saccucci.
Welcome to your seats. We start in 5 minutes.
Pass.
Poker Raven says, I got trafficked here from Joe's tweet. That trophy looks great. Maybe not the word trafficked by Joe. Can we come up with an alternative
Yeah.
phrase for that? 6, 5, 6, 2 diamonds. Pillhofer with a diamond. Pillhofer with a backdoor straight draw.
Check. Check.
King high is ahead for now. Turn card is a 6. King high looking much better now.
Sayut.
Bet 150. Pass.
You know what kind of had its moment and never came back? I don't know, actually, maybe this was just more of like a... No, it was a gamer thing. Remember when people used to say woot?
Woot, yes, I do remember.
I don't know, when was the last time you heard someone say woot? Before today.
I don't want a wooting anymore.
No.
Right?
Nobody woots anymore.
I think it's because no one's happy about anything anymore.
And nothing to woot about?
There's no wooting because no one's celebrated anything in years. Everything's terrible, grim. Whoop, whoop. This slow says, whoop, 1337, pwned.
You know, it's funny, after what happened with the chocolate today, I woke up to a text of just a picture of cheese from a friend back home because there is an inside joke amongst my friends about the night that there was like a charcuterie board and I ate all of the cheese. This particular cheese, I like didn't realize that I was eating it all.
Sorry, because they heard it or just randomly?
No,
they
like
were
they don't even
reminded
know.
of it?
Yeah, they were randomly heard, like the timing was like, I was like, maybe I have a problem. Like, we have no self-control amongst food. Like, you just sent me a picture of this. Like,
you even ate the wax around the outside of it? You're an animal.
Good question from J-Mash. It might get you banned, J-Mash, but asking if Joe knows about leet.
I remember leet speak.
Yeah. How do you spell leet, though?
733 L33.
No.
133.
1337.
Oh,
or I'll
1337,
also accept L337.
Yeah, okay.
Check.
But I definitely learned about leet speak from like reading about it in like a magazine though, and not experiencing it for myself. I wasn't allowed to play games online.
Yeah, so pwned and wrecked and stuff, Jess Alice, I feel like that was even after.
That was a little later.
Yeah.
I mean, wrecked came way later.
Yeah, wrecked is like, we weren't wrecking anyone back in my day. We often reeked, but we never wrecked.
Right.
Oh.
Was it a good hand or?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
Speaking of good hands,
Let me speak.
La Reine.
Antoine Saywoot.
Let's see which.
Would it be Les Rennes?
It's so easy to limp in these blind levels. 50,000.
Oh, wow. A little under repping of the hand here. Limping in. And Pillhofer flops top pair. Top pair, no good. In a limped pot. No help for Pillhofer on the turn.
Well, a little bit of help to maybe pick up straight on the river,
all right,
but
fair enough, fair enough.
But still
you.
quite behind. Picking up by 4 extra outs is going to could do some wonders.
Kind of feeling for Pillhofer right now. Obviously, he had the 8s versus kings. Now he's got this top pair versus overpair situation.
Bet 525.
It's really tough to not lose big pots three-handed play with hands like this.
Yeah, you're just so high up in your range with top pair and a straight draw here. Limped pre. Certainly a card that maybe Pillhofer can get away from it, though. But not easy.
Never easy in poker.
Because when you really break down Saccucci's range, a lot of the barrels are going to be some clubs sometimes, but also a lot of bluffs, right? Like a lot of, you know, maybe king 7 off bets the flop and then barrels the turn to try to fold out a 5 or a 3. Maybe something like queen 4, bet the flop, bet big on the turn. So Pillhofer knows that only beating bluffs here. How can you always have it is a good question. Really nice sizing here from Saccucci. Not too greedy.
And Pillhofer can't get away from it. Makes the call, loses 1.8 million to his opponent. That's 2 hands in the last 10 minutes that have really done some damage to Pillhofer's stack.
Yeah.
Yes. You never.
Wasn't bluff.
Yeah.
It's slipping.
That wasn't bluff.
Did you saw a bluff yesterday from me?
I'm not like professionals. I didn't watch the stream. I know a lot of people did, but I don't do that. I go to bed.
So Pillhofer's dropped down to around 30
I
bigs.
didn't see no bluff though from when we were playing.
Blinds going up in about 8 minutes' time. We will obviously roll straight into the first of the 45-minute levels. After that, we will take our first break of the day.
Oh. Check.
No,
Blind v blind, unraised pre.
maybe a continuation standard.
Pillhofer with the wheel draw. Saccucci with top pair.
Sure, my friend.
Huge favorite here, blocking that
Most likely.
deuce for the wheel for Pillhofer.
Check.
Maybe not since you checked. 250.
Bet 250. Pass.
Yours was a donation, my friend.
Hey, it's straight draw.
Another loss for Pillhofer.
The highest non-pair.
Yeah, good fold there. I mean, obviously very small innocuous pot, but facing only a 30% pot, you think your king might be live. Good discipline from Pillhofer not to just give away chips now that it's getting away from him a little bit, down to 30 big blinds.
You can get a little desperate sometimes.
Yeah.
So Pillhofer has now dropped below the 30 big blind mark. Not much separating So and Saccucci right now.
Except years of experience and talent and money.
Check.
At the start of yesterday's final table, Joe, when we still had 9 players, I know that you had a strong feeling about Javier Gomez. For the first half of that table, I felt that So was doing what he should have done with his stack size, which is just kind of sit back, wait, be patient.
He did, yeah.
Since then, after he came alive, and certainly during short-handed play, I mean, and again, Griffin, you highlighted his experience, you highlighted his results. He's got to be the favorite right now, even though he's not quite chip leader.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a reason why Antoine Saccucci has, final table at the World Series main event more than once. He is just crushes big field main events. Really good instincts, really solid, but also really capable of some big moves. He's my favorite right now for sure.
So 4th on the all-time money list from France. Rui Cow plays a lot of high rollers in third. Pollock, Benjamin Pollock in second. And good old Elke topping that list.
Saccucci.
Saccucci.
Former PCA winner, right?
Indeed.
We are going next month to Bahamar.
Hashtag fun fact, Griffin. Who was the first PCA champion? Who won the first ever PCA?
Isaac Haxton?
Ike
No,
didn't
that
win.
was-
That was
oh,
in
he got-
2007, and Ike was the
he got
runner-up.
I think I know this one.
The first PCA was 2004.
Pretty big name in poker, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was not at a resort. It was on a boat.
Yes, I know this.
Check.
Give me a first or last, the first name that wouldn't give it away.
I can't.
Can't.
Oh, okay. Do it now because it'll be funny. I'm not going to guess.
Gustav.
Gustav.
Come on, Griffin. I just almost swore.
Gustav, who's that?
What would be a nickname for someone named Gustav?
The Goose?
An abbreviation. How would you...
Okay, what's a nickname for Joseph?
Oh, Gustav, I see what you're doing. Okay, this is my detective work here. You guys ready for this?
Yeah.
I got it. Gus Hansen.
Hey, it's like Griffin after the confession figures out who the murderer is.
Sorry.
Gustav.
That is his name.
I guess you're right, yeah.
No, look, don't guess I'm right. That is right. He's Gustav.
I mean, he's Gus in my phone. I don't know why. I just lied to everyone. I don't have Gus Hansen's number. I don't know why I lied. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Sometimes we say weird things after we make a mistake when we're embarrassed. We scramble.
I have Phil Ivy's number, but he's probably changed it.
I wonder if I used to have 4 or 5 numbers for Phil Ivey.
Yeah.
2 pair here for Antoine Saut.
Saccucci actually outflopped for once.
But, again, seeing no need to bet.
That was the only condition of my Ivy poker contract. I just wanted Phil Ivy's phone number. Pretty sure they just had an assistant communicating with me.
I want 10 figures, and they're like 702 555.
They just have a full-time assistant texting me.
Okay, so Saccucci does pick up a gut shot on the turn. Checks a second time.
Bit of a weird spot for Saud here because he has the board so destroyed on the flop that he really, it's hard for him to get action. So I think that's why we see the small sizing here. And this is the exact kind of bet that Saccucci is willing to pay. Still drawing to the nuts. Maybe sometimes the king high is good.
Saccucci misses river.
So you might get a little greedier now that we've gotten to the river like this. Maybe thinking, okay, Saccucci could just have ace-5 and be willing to call, you know, upwards of 1.3 million.
2 million.
Yeah, and that's why we see the bigger sizing, because
later
Saccucci's just going to fold the 7x or the queen x, river to 8 maybe with a diamond combo on the turn. But if he has an ace, he might call upwards of, you know, 2 million. So.
Does that give Soap the chip lead yet?
No. But he's closing in on
Gotta
it.
be getting close.
Pilhofer not going to play this hand. Saccucci
Raise for Andy.
raises small to big with king 5 of diamonds.
I'm not gonna lie, a French win here and then a French win in the soccer later would be pretty cool. Nice little parlay.
Queen 6-3. Ace high, still the best hand. Saccucci continuing. 350k.
Can you imagine the parade in France for Saud?
Ezt tudod, mi kiskanizsai erő. Ez kiskanizsai erő. Gyere.
Queen of diamonds pairs the board.
Check. Check.
Check, check on the turn. 4 on the river, so ace high good. Any chance Saccucci tries to steal this on the river?
I don't think so, because the king high is pretty strong as like showdown, and you're not going to really fold out a 6 or a 3 with action, or a rivered 4, you know, from those straight draw hands. So Saeed's just going to take it down with that ace high.
And that will give Antoine Saut the chip lead, Joe. We do see a change at the top. Still pretty close between these two, but officially Antoine Saut is now the biggest stack with 3 players remaining.
Dubstakes says on Twitch, it's pretty cool that commentators are reading Twitch chats.
And how are you able to do that, Griffin? Is it because you brought your computer to work today?
Okay, first of all, the only reason I don't bring my computer is because I don't want to have to move Nick's, you know?
Oh.
It's nice. I just look on his thing. I send out a couple emails on Nick's computer.
Emails Nick's mom.
No, that is a phone number I do have.
So with the figurative and literal biggest stack.
Huh.
Quite the tower he's got going there.
Hillhofer getting chipped away at right now. And Saut ahead with queen high.
Check. Check.
Which opportunities emerge on the turn?
Check. Check.
Once again, it goes check, check. The river is a deuce, so the queen's playing.
Bet 150. Pass.
And min bet from Saut on the river wins him the pot. Up over 17 million now.
Bluntaruski on Twitch asking, what does a deal mean? Now, technically, the money that's left here, first, second, and third, that's the player's money. So if they decide they want to divide that money up, rather than, they have to leave a little bit to play for.
Yeah, I think how it works is they are automatically awarded third place money, and then the remaining prize money can be redistributed. However, 10% of that has to remain in play for the winner, along with the trophy and the title.
Right, so more or less, though, if they want to divide the money up, they want to say, hey, let's not play this out. Let's just all take a big payday. They can do that and play for a little bit left over for the winner. It doesn't always have to be divided evenly, but no, it's just easiest to think of it in those terms. As long as they all agree.
And look, again, comes up every time we cover one of these events. I know there are people who feel that it ruins the game, that it destroys the spirit of the game. The reality is, if the EPT didn't facilitate that, if we didn't do it officially and oversee it, that's when you get backroom deals being done.
It would happen anyway.
And unfortunately, when you have a backroom deal with no one from the tournament staff overseeing it, that's when players get screwed.
Yeah, so what happens is, at times in the past, people will agree to a deal, but when it's not official and the tournament isn't handling it, then you stop playing as hard, you get your money in, you take a flip, and then somehow you don't win.
Yeah.
And the person who gets the big check, they go, what deal?
I mean, obviously, Griffin, I know that there are some major live events where they have this kind of public statement, no deals allowed. But we all know that if the players want to do a deal, they will find a way.
There's also something very sexy about a backroom deal. There's often cigars, you know, you're making. So it's great that the, you know, staff can help out and help facilitate that. Keep it clean, you know?
And that's right, Gus. They still have to play for something in the end at an EPT tournament, at least.
375.
I mean, interestingly, I think the reason, and we discussed this earlier, why we're not seeing deal talk right now is they're relatively deep. The skill element is there. If it gets shallower, why would you let variance dictate who gets 470K and who gets $1 million?
Because you're a sicko.
The luck element increases as the blinds go up.
Queen, queen, deuce, 2 diamonds. King high. Ahead of jack high.
That's 150.
Backdoor spades here and facing the min bet. I'm going to expect Saccucci to continue, whether it's in the form of a call or a raise.
Cool.
Eight of spades on the turn is a very heartening card. Well, spadening card
Nice.
for Saccucci.
The spadening. And again, a situation where we have to wonder, how does Saccucci want to approach this turn flush draw? Could just play it as a call, but might be interesting, especially with the small chip lead, to play this more as a raise. But just going to call again.
The blinds went up, right? We're now at 100,000, 200,000?
No, still 150.
It's close, though.
Check, shoot him, please.
King high.
King high, good.
Yeah, I think Antoine realizing he needs to find a way to win that hand, but you know, it also might fly in the face of his strategy a little bit, not trying to get into these jousting wars with the other chip leader right now.
Just announced the blinds going up right there.
Okay, so that's the end of the level that they started playing last night. Now, every blind level, because we are three-handed, will be 45 minutes long. So now, 100,000, 200,000 with a 200K big blind ante. And at the end of this 45-minute level, so around the top of the hour, we will take our first break of the day.
Raise, 450.
It looks like the raise now is going to be to 2.5 times the big blind. No, what is that, 2 1/4? 450?
Call. Pass.
So makes the call. Queen 10 8 2 hearts. So pair for Saccucci, pair for Saccucci. Straight draw for Saccucci. Backdoor hearts for Saccucci.
Should highlight that Saccucci has reclaimed the chip lead from Saccucci.
For all the players in the high roller event,
3 on the turn.
the tournament will restart in less than 10 minutes. If you'd like to take your seat, you're more than welcome to go to your tournament area. It's right in front of the stage.
650.
Bet, 650.
Saccucci throwing pretty thin here. Ooh, is gonna stick around for one more street.
Sticky.
It does whiff the river. I'm pretty happy about top pair on this board, I think. No hard on the Turner River, no straight card on the Turner River. And he does, in fact, like his top pair enough to value bet.
Bet of 1.1 million into a pot of 2.6 million.
Saccucci doesn't really get superhero-y in these spots. You could level yourself into thinking, oh, all the flop draws missed. King Jack missed. Hearts missed. All those random jacks. Third pair stayed third pair. I have seen every once in a while Saccucci will just say donation and make a late call on the river. And it does seem like he's leaning that way this time.
All right.
Oh, gives it up.
So back up over 17 million.
Nice to have the ace of hearts in your hand there to find the fold. Because you block those nut flush draws that might be bluffing in that spot, trying to get a pair to fold.
So after that hand, So has the slight advantage over Saccucci. Pilhofer bringing up the rear. Thinner 36 as James has just watched Goldeneye for the first time in over 20 years. Your thoughts on that film? One of the good ones. Holds up pretty well. Definitely the best of the Brosnan movies.
Thank you for your question. Good time to welcome another one of the great poker minds that we happen to just have on the side of good. We just happen to have him on our team. PokerStars Team Pro, Sam Grafton.
Hello, guys.
I paused there for a second because I know you're not like this, and this isn't a needle, so it's not going to bother you, but you were chip leader overnight in the 10K.
Sure. Dusted that off pretty quick. No,
okay.
not pretty quick.
Did you cash or no?
No.
Okay.
You paused in case there was something to hype me up. Look at this. The guys at the table obliging. They don't want me to have a dull hand. They want more attention drawn to my 10K blow up. Top pair over a very strong second pair. It's just delightful. I just strolled in. And there's Griff talking about blockers. Love to see it. Oh, I didn't even see the hand, but.
We have Bradders 55BB saying, Mr. 5 Million. What a great little nickname to have.
Pretty good, Mr. 5 Million.
Yeah, people used to call me Mr. Millionaire when I won the Shark Cage, but you're Mr. 5 Million. Pretty cool.
Yeah, look, Sue with a lot of confidence to bet again.
Yeah, as far as turn cards go, pretty good. Obviously, it is going to give 3 of a kind to some of the 4s that Saccucci might have, but you know, feel confident going for value, being up against a lot of 8s and some draws that have not completed. And this pot's pretty big. 4 million now.
Yeah, and if you had to guess, you think so will value bet the river? Or you think he'll just...
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done a pretty good job of
I think he's going to run the risk of course, running into the odd Jack 9 or Queen 9, but I think he's willing to put up another, like, you know, he's not going to bet huge. I don't think he's going to bet more than 1.5. Oh, well, he checked. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's close. Obviously thought about it.
A bit tight.
All right, so Saud back in the chip lead.
A bit tight, he says, but yeah.
Hearts as well?
No, ace of hearts.
If I may, I would have thought he would have bet there also, only because Saccucci doesn't really raise rivers very often.
No, but
it's more about
also because they're passive. They have to play passive against each other.
Yeah.
So now he might not even raise the flop with King 9, Queen 9, the hands that would normally check raise, right? Normally in this line, the 10-9's going to be nothing.
Okay, so you're less sure where you're at because the hands that normally would have raised you previously wouldn't be in that spot.
But there wasn't a flop raise though, was there?
No,
that's what he's saying. He's saying sometimes you would.
Oh, sometimes
if
those
you're
hands
behind, you'd
that
be
would
value cutting yourself sometimes.
Those hands
there.
that maybe would value raising the flop wouldn't because you're supposed to play passive. So
yeah, you could not
the King
value
9s
you
and
can't
Queen
value
9s,
bet against the 4, so you're only value betting against the 8 and a worse 9. And that's a little. I mean, imagine. I'm sure you've already talked about it in the broadcast, but how experienced Saud is at this point in his career.
Yes.
We played a little, actually, the Luton high roller, 2K high roller. Actually, like about 2 months ago, we played a final table together, and we were sat next to each other. Yeah, I was chatting with him a little, and yeah, and you know, I'm a very experienced poker player, but even me, you know, 2 World Series finals, all this, you know, he's sort of a London reg actually in a way, Antoine.
Really?
He's lived there so long,
yeah.
So and he loves the game and you know, grinds hard, and so you see him in every sort of 1K.
3, 8, 7, 5.
A real pro.
He's going to limp in with Queen 7 suited. He'll offer with Queen Jack suited. Shoves. That's going to end this hand.
He's got a little white on his his chin beard, like me. I like that. You know, it's like I feel like we're
through. Yeah,
part
that's
of
how
the same.
Sam started.
Yeah. Turns out it keeps going.
Yeah. At first you think, it's cute. It's just a little thing, and before you know it,
I mean,
you can't post you post to Instagram and you're like thinking you're looking cool, and everyone just says, "Ho ho ho!" There's Santa. You know, can I sit on your knee? Yeah.
Santa Claus.
Yeah. You should have kept that for the gram.
I should have. Yeah.
The Falcon Warlord asks, what was starting stack? That's the number of chips the players are given at the beginning of the tournament. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, that's what it is.
4. 4 raise.
Can't believe someone was so good as to give Hartigan a gold thinking question. Or a gold thing.
Golden Eye.
Golden Eye.
Yeah.
Get it right. So with ace 10.
Did you raise last round? 9, 10 of suit?
Wow, Bill Hoffer just ditches Queen 9.
He has 9, 10 now.
Well, from the small blind, yeah.
And Saccucci in with pocket 4s.
A little bit of friendly chit chat. Love that.
And flops a set. Continues relatively hot.
Relative to what, Joe? He's been on every single final table every single day, running it up, turning boats.
And gets bet into.
Yeah, a little protection here from Saud. Trying to just fold out the hands with equity.
9.
And once that happens, gonna very comfortably fold.
9.
Bye. Oh, bye. Oh.
No.
Okay, there we go.
No.
4 pass.
Just Alice J says turning sailboats into a full boat is a skill.
Nice.
I like that.
Solid. Just gonna put that in my notebook for the TV coverage. Thanks, Jess.
Oh my God, you're really writing it into a notebook right now.
My God, you have that. This is like when they go into an apartment of a serial killer and find his mad
manifestos.
ravings.
Yeah. Great question here on Twitch for Sam. What is the equivalent of Bond questions for James to Sam?
Bill
Favorite
Hoffer all
Peter
in.
Greenaway films?
And Z and 2 zeros. So tell me a little bit about our short stack here. Pillhofer.
Yeah, played quite well. You know, it's pretty solid. I think.
He actually does look a little bit like you, Joe.
Hungarian player.
Yeah, a little bit.
Used to be a pro. Quit around 2017.
What happened?
Hasn't made any glaring errors. That's for
Bitcoin
sure.
run-up.
Became a hotelier in Hungary.
Nice.
What's a hotelier? Like a hotel staff, or like someone who runs a hotel?
Owner of a hotel.
Yeah.
And has recently made a triumphant return to poker. Just won a local Hungarian tournament for like 60K or something within the last few weeks.
And he's the guy who folded the queens.
Ah, yes.
Hear about this hand?
Yeah, the king. Yeah, king.
I'm an idiot. Just kidding.
Probably would have had more chips. Instead, he short stacked on the final table. What a dunce.
And we've decided that his hoodie makes him look so cute and cuddly that we're going to make dolls. We're going to make Pillhofer dolls.
Starting to be annoyed.
It's a good name, Pillhofer.
Yeah.
Pillhofer.
Yeah. I had a girlfriend who was a Pillhofer. Sam's trying not to laugh.
It's just because he believes you.
I'm not lying.
This man's exploits. It's just what a memoir it's going to be.
Outrageous.
Oh, it's going to be
Yeah.
incredible.
It's just mouse guards volumes are going to shrivel up. It's going to be twice as
The
long.
Decalogue.
And yeah, much more. And this.
I don't know if you guys heard Pillhofer on the last hand said he's starting to get annoyed. It can be quite frustrating watching those chips slowly drizzle away. And yeah, Saccucci's not going to fold threes for one bet of one big blind.
They're playing with quite almost a little bit of a casual demeanor here. They're acting.
It's quite nonchalant, yes.
Acting. Yeah.
Threes are good.
Why didn't you raise? I would be out.
Figured he wanted me to raise.
Well, if you raise, I
You
just
don't
strip.
usually live.
A little bit of strat chat.
I wanted him to raise.
It's,
Super.
You didn't want him to raise.
Jordan.
No, I want him to raise for the. No,
Yeah,
raise
yeah,
call.
I'm not calling with these two pairs. But
it's funny, of course, you know, it's such a sort of, because making it to a final table, making it this deep in a tournament, you go through a lot of stress, a lot of tension, a lot of hours at the table. You often do end up in this position where you're...
I think I choose the only way I survived. If I jam, you call. If you raise, I just jam as well, and you call.
Little
You call.
recap of the action there from Pillhofer
Still here.
for people that missed that.
Well played.
All the sliding doors
Yeah.
that could have happened. He checked 47 million eventualities and only beat Thanos in one of them.
Was sliding doors an expression before the Gwyneth Paltrow
I don't know.
movie?
I don't
we
know.
don't know what
Yeah.
came first.
You know what's crazy is the expression bucket list didn't exist until the movie
I don't
Bucket
believe
List.
that, by the way. I don't believe that. I've heard that. I think that can't be right.
Pulp Fiction wasn't a phrase before Pulp Fiction either. That was
Yeah, but
It
bucket.
wasn't?
Yeah, but nobody says Pulp Fiction. People say bucket list all the time. Unless we're talking about the movie Pulp Fiction.
Here we go, guys. Let's go.
But you know this. The bucket list was like a 2010 movie
No,
or
come
something.
on, it existed before that.
No, that's the whole thing on the internet. Is that apparently
no
it didn't.
evidence that the
There's
phrase
no
existed
evidence
before
the
the
phrase
movie.
existed before the Morgan Freeman movie Bucket List, right?
Yes. So it's
There we
showing.
go.
Oh, Pillhofer finding a way to get it in.
Here we go indeed.
2 live cards,
Queen Jack.
potentially for third place.
Tell him.
Pass magas.
Look. On the screen. Guys, it's an all-in.
Pillhofer, yes it is. Pillhofer not in terrible shape here.
This is 20 big blinds. Pillhofer's.
It is 18 big blinds.
Yeah, this is a hell of a flip. A lot of money out there.
A lot of money at stake. Flop is King Jack 7. Jack for Pilhofer. Clubs also good news for him. 88% chance.
So it's going for the prepay.
He did that earlier and ended up chopping in a huge spot against Tonka, right? Survive.
Oh my gosh, was that against Sayut?
I think it was. 3 jacks now for Pilhofer.
Jack would be.
Sayut officially drawing dead.
Yeah. And
oh my gosh.
Well, a bit of emotion from Sayut. He'll be fine, of course. But ace on the river, completely redundant.
3, 6, 7.
So not only does Pilhofer survive, but is quite healthy again.
Yeah, I mean, that's very significant. That's a stack that Sahut has to be wary of. It's a stack you have a, yeah, let's just say some large, decent amount of utility with. You can 3-bet fold now, you can full raises. It's game on again somewhat. I wonder if that's a, you know, I like to live in my little world of approved place. I wonder if Queen Jack is a call there versus the actual shoving range. You're going to dominate a bit of Jack 10 suited, Queen 10 suited, but it's quite close, I would imagine.
Was 16 effective-ish?
18, I guess.
I think...
is it a 3.2?
3.6, 7, 5.
Pilhofer announcing he's starting to get a little frustrated, obviously.
He gave him fair warning.
Yes.
He's an honest man. I'll let you know, Joe. I'll be like, Joe, fair warning. I'm getting these jokes are beginning to grate. Please tone it down, and if not, I'm
going to get it in a little wider.
Sure.
Sayut and Saccucci this time to the flop. All spade board. No pairs. No immediate draws.
4-bet 300. 2+.
And Sayut retakes the chip lead. That small pot.
Am I right in saying that to some extent, given that, you know, of course, they have a pedigree and a background, it's almost like Sayut and 2 recreational, semi-pro, or is Saccucci doing this for a living, do you think?
I don't think he's doing it for a living. And
Yeah.
it's sort of the things he says at the table, I don't know that he would describe himself as a wreck, but he says wreck things. Like, I did not watch the footage last night, guys. I don't really do that. It's not my thing. It's a bit of a wreck statement to make.
550.
I love that, yeah. Well, you'd be at home, all 3 of us, we know Griff would be reviewing the tape if he ever made it.
I would be out partying and just spending the money I haven't won yet.
Yeah. It's like me. I'm a recreational commentator. I still do rec things. Turn up a little bit late, a little bit unprepared.
Right.
Like, what's going on? Which tournament are we covering
Right.
today?
Who is this?
Yeah.
Saccucci out. And ace 10 for Antoine.
7.
It's always coming 7.
6 points.
Yeah, I mean, this just looks like this is sort of feeling like he's in a good spot and ready. You know, by the way, I'm not saying he's going to win it 50% of the time or more than he should, but he looks ready to go. He's looking confident out there. And
Despite this particular body posture, I agree with Sam.
he's wearing expensive knitwear.
6 goal.
For slamming in the limp.
How was your drinks and books place last night, Sam?
Oh, we didn't get in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it the place you took me to?
Because I forgot it was Saturday night. Like,
Oh,
so
it's
of course, it's a little place you have to press a buzzer to get a little more. I think I mentioned it before because I've told Hartigan about it, certainly, because this is totally true. They have 2 like screens up, and they only show bond moves round the
wow.
clock. Yeah, like,
That's great.
yeah. So it's quite nice. You have to sort of, I always try and guess which one it is of the.
So when you texted me about it, and I started walking.
450.
Yeah, but then I was like, it was weird with the map, and like there was like highways going on, and I was a bit under the weather. I'm like, I'm turning back.
It's Griffin, is what he's saying.
Well, it's a 20-minute walk. I was like, this is good. I'll
The
get a little
guy will read
exercise.
the Lord of the Rings, but if it comes to like navigating 8 windy streets of Prague, he's out.
No. When it comes to crossing Las Vegas Boulevard, it can take Griffin up to 45 minutes.
Oh my God, that
we
was
like
funny.
literally left Griffin
They
at
lost me,
CVS.
yeah.
We're like, we're going to lunch across the street, and it took him about 45 minutes to find us.
Couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I kind of have some sympathy for that. I've also, like, there's a flyover bridge right the way down. Do I have to walk to there? It's hard to cross American Street. But yeah, so we just stayed up. Yeah, we had a little rotating cast of people coming in and out, like chatting. That was a good night.
So you went somewhere else in the area where that place
No,
was?
yeah, we went one place and then we came back and
Yeah,
then we,
okay.
we sat in the mezzanine. That was good.
All right, unraised pot. Queen 6, 7, 6. Ace 8, deuce, 2 clubs.
Too bad. 250.
Saccucci.
Yeah, Queen 6 with the Queen of Clubs, I think, is going to be quite a bit too strong for Saccucci to fold. But like Sam mentioned, not a lot of reason to battle and fight too much between the two chip leaders right now. Maybe it's changed a little bit with that double up as well, but
Check.
like that Saccucci check. Very studious.
600.
Okie dokie.
600.
Goes more than half pot with the 7 high. Relatively uncharacteristic for Saccucci.
Yeah, and so it's a little suspicious, but
It's suspicious, but it's also like, it doesn't feel like a good bluff. It feels too random to be like nothing, right? It's just, that's tough. It's like,
this is the way people bluff, though. Like, the more disconnected the betting, the more, like,
yeah.
But you don't want a 6. Like, you want, like, queen, jack, king, queen, 10. Like, the higher the cards, the better the bluff catcher.
Yeah.
You're saying 2 high cards?
Well, you saw the bluff comes from 7-6 and 6-5 and 6-4.
Right.
So, like, queen, jack is just a bit better than queen 6. And queen 10 is just a bit
Yeah.
better.
Blockers.
But, I mean, I'm sure that's a little bit of...
Well, you guys know how I feel about blockers. Force for so King 9.
Ooh, and this might
Pillhofer.
lose Pillhofer some chips if
There's a
Saccucci
raise.
is intending to play this as a limp shove for 30 bigs, which is certainly within the realm of possibility, and even more so, I think, facing a 4x. What do you think, Sam?
I think that you have to take the spot, especially when he's as, like, depolarized as King 9 off. He can't know that fully soon. But it's just whether there's a sort of... you can see So doesn't really like it because he feels he's got a big edge here and he wants to just pick up pots.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's why he's just going to
And
call.
this is why he's doing it, yeah. Yeah, this is just a big sign of the way Antoine's going to approach this final.
And we know this is a safe flop for Saud. Checks it to the pre-flop aggressor. Pillhofer checks back. Would really like to see a diamond on the turn. Instead, it's a 6.
Yeah, and Antoine showed a lot of confidence, just sort of betting that ace-10 when he felt it was the best hand, you know. And he will likely go for some value and protection.
Now Saud takes over the betting. 525,000.
Yeah, and
Plenty of rivers he doesn't want to see.
this is very modest sizing and almost sort of kind of exact hand strength.
Yeah, wow. Gets the call from the dog, and rivers of 5. Not exactly a scare card for pocket force.
Yeah, weird spot for Sodes. I mean, I think one thing you might be hoping is it's like a king 3 or something like this, but he might just block again. You lose the minimum to 9s or whatever hand it happens to be, and you get called by ace high. And I think just suits confidence against Pillhofer, and that.
And maybe you get called by king high?
Well,
I
that
will
remains
say,
to be seen.
I will say, I have seen Pillhofer on a river before. You know, try to use that nut blocker.
Sure.
So I think it's within the realm of possibility that we might see a big raise here.
He's got to
also,
go.
you know, but doesn't have a lot of room to do it. So.
Yeah, and let's give some credit to Antoine there. You know, a cruder strategy, one I might have gone for, to shove the 4s. Go, you know, yeah, it might be results oriented somewhat, but he felt he could go to the streets, and he navigated that pretty successfully. Got his street of value.
Nothing ever. It's like.
Hey, you did. You went all in and hit the flop. Yeah.
Yeah, I was up to 30 million.
Yeah, Pillhofer slipping again.
And the turn you hit, too.
4+, 6+.
Watch when I have aces. Oh, 8 deuce, double
That's
down.
about as far from aces as it gets.
Yeah, you remember this kid knocked me out as well.
In this event.
Yeah, it was a bit of a cooler. I had 10-4 suited.
Oh yeah.
That
It's like you know, it's always the money's always going to go in there.
Yeah.
Like I dodged it pre-flop, but then when I hit the 4, but yeah, he seemed like I was sat next to him. Seemed like a nice lad.
It's been cool. There've been a lot of been a fair amount of camaraderie.
Yeah.
At these feature tables.
He's always using these long French
In
words.
already?
Yes.
Yeah, 650.
Please speak English, please. What is that, Latin?
Camaraderie seems pretty French.
No, yeah, Saccucci's been, you know, very friendly. A lot of good rapport with the other players.
Undersea Monkey says that 10-4 hand played itself, to be fair.
Thank you, Undersea Monkey. A little bit of
Yeah,
solidarity.
what was it, under the gun? Defending the big blind?
Yeah, I caught a glimpse of the great Parker Talbot in his underwear just a little while ago, recovering from his.
Yeah.
Why was he in his underwear, and where did was it in his room that you saw
We're
him?
all Team Pro. We're very close.
You don't know about the
it's not like the old days.
live stream
where we're just you know. But yeah, shame he's not around there.
4+, 6+.
You ever final one of these, Griff? No, right? Never final these.
No.
Mr. Shambhala, but
Shambhala, but no.
I think you'll find that it's Mrs. Shambhala who has Ms. Shambhala
Yeah.
these days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you there? James was like telling me about that relationship of yours, and I could not remember that person at all. And he had to Google her and show me.
That's weird.
And I still don't remember.
Wow.
You had some wild years there. Joe Stapleton just missing.
Yeah,
What do you
that's
mean
what it
had?
is.
It's not past tense.
And here we go. So again, wow, 3x. Just dumps it. And look at Anton really playing very confidently.
I mean, let me
Immediately
be perfectly clear. No one has played more linearly like pre-flop than Saccucci in the history of a chip leader in the EPT.
Yeah.
Like, he has not been 3-betting light. Like, it's very, like, if he's 3-betting there, it's because he has a better ace than you or a big pair. And So it's just like, I'll just wait to find out what he has later when he's...
There's not a lot of guesswork with
Yeah,
Saccucci, yeah.
no. I mean, his particular style, Saccucci's, has worked really well with the card distribution. It's just he's been running really, really hot and has had pretty good instincts in spots and, you know, but in general has not been 3-betting like
And then, you know, every 8 to 12 hands picks up pocket kings.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well, Saccucci has raised these kings, and Saut has an ace and is re-raising.
Yeah, it makes some sense to take the blocker and unblocker, but not going to work out here.
And yeah, and playing this and
jams.
Wow. Yeah, and playing this ace-3 linearly from a small blind to big blind.
I was almost happy with you guys go.
I think is also a reflection of the fact that Saud is aware that Saccucci's going to play pretty honestly, you know? Not going to have 4-bets light. I can just 3-bet this and he'll fold a lot of his range or just call and, you know? Because some people would just defend the ace-3 there because they don't want to run the risk of, you know, being bluffed by a 4-bet.
Meg asking, what is Saccucci's hair situation? He's got some tight braids.
Very
under there.
cool looking braids under there.
Yeah.
I actually wish that maybe you can, if he wins, you can get him to take out the hat. Have a good look at him.
Probably not going to do that.
The unorthodox way to go with. Before we get to the
do you mind? Yeah, it actually means a lot to Griffin. He thinks your braids look really cool. Can you?
Pretty in these days to ask folks to touch their hair.
Listen, if
really
he's
going to go over
1.
great with my crowd.
If he's 4 million Canadian dollars richer,
with a commentator from a different generation.
if he wins and he's
Yeah.
4 million Canadian dollars richer, I'm sure he'll happily show you his braids.
Hey, would you mind getting partially undressed for me so I can check out your physical form? Thanks a lot.
Saccucci now gotten all the way up to almost 20 million. It really feels like he is a man of destiny in this tournament.
I said that when he knocked me out. I thought if he can hold.
That's when the narrative first started. He just got that.
When you eliminate the best player in the tournament,
fairy dust.
Yeah.
It's like when Schwarzenegger winks at The Rock at the beginning of the rundown. He's just like, good luck.
Yeah. Oh, I got to rewatch that movie.
Passing the torch to you.
Yeah. Just whatever you do, don't do superhero movies.
Whoops.
Peel off Daniel, showing a little bit of emotion.
Saccucci flops best.
Wow.
Oh, this is going to upset Griffin. Olo says, speaking of The Rock, I had the chance to watch Black Adam yesterday. Decent flick. Shazam.
I just read an article about how The Rock refused to be in Shazam 2, even though he is supposed to be a Shazam villain.
Wow. Not big enough. Doesn't like to be second fiddle.
Oh, and he unfollowed the Warner Brothers and the Black Adam account on Instagram.
Really?
Yeah, because it bombed in the box office, and now he's being all cranky.
And this we're finding with a lot of people in this world that absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
Yes. And this is, of course, all tied to the fact that now Henry Cavill is no longer Superman because Black Adam failed.
Are they rebooting the whole thing again, or what? Yeah, the whole DC universe?
Led by James Gunn, yeah. But it's weird because there's 3 movies still to come out of like this, like
really?
the remnants
There's
of
a
the
new Shazam,
Snyderverse.
right? Yeah. All right, here we go. We'll pick up the action here. A pair of 8s on the turn for Saud.
And that is
Flush
almost
draw.
a flush.
Yeah, for Pilhofer. All red, as they say in Ocean's 11. Pilhofer
Yeah, Pilhofer's
ditches it.
playing kind of honest in how he looks and how he's approaching things, you know?
His emotion is starting to show. Did you see Black Adam?
No.
Wow, he's offended I even asked.
Yeah.
No.
Very deeply offended.
I got to the point where I started getting sick of seeing the trailer even. Like I'd go to the movies and I'd be like, oh, this trailer
This
again.
trailer.
He
The
catches a
hierarchy of
rocket.
DC
Wow.
power. Oh my God. We get it. Super meta. The Rock catches a rocket.
All race 400.
On.
6 is solemn.
I am all out.
2 pass.
I mean, look, if he can make it seem like he's all forlorn shoving 2 aces. All in.
Yeah, this was a bit
Queen
quick.
Jack.
I would have liked to have seen, like, I guess a flat is a bit unorthodox.
Wow,
on
and by the way, Anton's
17
considering it
days.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I mean.
like he just thinks he's picked up on the body language. I mean,
this could be
Pilhofer-
part of the snap shove because maybe the Queen Jack, would be in the range.
Yeah. It's just hard. It's just, I mean, don't want to get technical here, Joe, but with
Yeah.
the
No, please get technical.
combinatorics,
Yeah.
the combinatorics of having 2 aces.
don't
in your
wanna
hand
get technical.
Just might make it more difficult.
I don't want to get
huge dancing around the word blocker.
Oh my God.
It's just.
That's my favorite sentence ever. I don't want to get technical, but the combinatoric.
No, but
Is that a made-up word? Combinatoric?
combinatorics. But yeah, you just don't show
Commonalities?
You just. Wow. Let's go, Pilhofer.
Shove.
6 race.
This is good. He's keeping his look of I'm annoyed. I'm just raising. I've had enough of this. Combinatorics mean a jack is less likely to come on the flop than.
Well, combinatorics means that it's unlikely to be a jack in Saud's hand as well.
By the way,
But there one is.
he's just trying to
Make combinatorics a thing.
No, he's just trying to make like the blockers are a real thing in a different
The
word.
1.1 million and yeah, 4, 5, 3.
Their tactics are getting more advanced, Joe.
PokerStar Strike says combinatorics is a branch of mathematics studying the enumeration, combination, and permutation of sets of elements and their mathematical relations that characterize their properties.
That's you could have just asked me. I would have told you that. Yeah.
850.
850, the raise.
Oh no!
Firing into the abyss.
This obviously is a really good board for the big blind, but I think that Pilhofer will not sort of. He's taking a moment.
I mean, not sort of what? Like he's just always shoving here, no?
Yeah, that I thought he might just. Yeah, yeah. He won't be sort of worried about that as much.
No,
as,
starting with 20 bigs. The bottom stack.
I think that's. No.
You have less of a problem with that all in than the aces all in.
Yeah, no. I just think that it's just much easier to pick a low queen or you need some interaction with the 4-5-3. I think.
I can keep.
I would just call there queen jack.
Okay, the last 2 hand I had were really good.
With the Queen of Hearts too.
But that was the first 2.
So let's discuss that pocket aces hand for a second, because as it was happening, it was like, whoa, 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 why is he shoving so quickly? But you're sitting there with 17 big blinds in the small blind. The button opens. You don't have much of a flat range, do you?
No, you
do always just show. Oh, you 3-bet because you think like you have a bit of room to do that.
Yeah.
You should have some 3-bet
I
bluffs
see
off
what you're
17
saying. He's
bigs.
got 17.
Because, like 20, you can find some 3-bet folds, but I feel like not a lot of people have that gear. Like Simon Matson might be finding
you're
the 17
right.
big blind, king 9, small blind, 3-bet.
You
But
make an absolute. I wasn't quite sensitized to the stack size.
Yeah.
And it doesn't surprise me that he shoved.
Yeah.
And actually, he did it in a very good way where it looked nonchalant.
Yeah.
So that's really good. I would 3-bet, but as you say, it's like you need to look like the kind of or set up the dynamic where you're the guy that will be.
You're
think
shrug getting it in, yeah.
Yeah, and I just think it would be more commonplace for on that 17 big blinds to maybe find some light 3-bet folds in the 200K buy-ins that you might play. But it's not something you see very often in main events.
You're absolutely right. I'd forgotten that he'd like whittled down a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want.
You don't need to wait. Yeah.
Hearing some announcements happening, I think this is going to be the last hand before the break, which is why.
Yeah, two quite strong hands to finish the level off.
And a boring flop, 7 high, 2 diamonds.
Yeah, and so we've seen it's been pretty confident. Just going for thin protection here, and we'll do so again with the ace-10.
Really piss.
No, don't fold king queen now, please. It hurts me a little.
I know,
Pains me a little.
I know. So Saud is going to win the last hand of the first session. 45-minute levels from here on out. So we played 2 levels in that session as the threads up poker here goes on break. Here are the chip counts. Istvan Pilhofer still treading water, just over 20 big blinds. Antoine Saud with 50 bigs. A bit of distance between him and Saccucci at this point. I was expecting things to be a little bit closer between them. When we get back, blinds at 125,000, 250,000 with a 250,000 big blind ante.
I'm loving the amount here for Jordan, right? Just a clean 20 million.
Yeah.
Or they're starting to round up or round down there at the chip counters.
Everyone guaranteed nearly $500,000 at this point. 470,000 for third, 650 plus for second, and over €1 million for first. All that money still yet to be played for.
Yeah.
Taking us to the break, PokerStars partnered with Power Poker to award a platinum pass to the PSPC in January. Here's PokerStars Team Pro Jen Shahadi with how they went down. See you all in about 15 minutes.
PokerStars and Poker Power teamed up for a ladies boot camp that culminated here in Prague with a platinum pass going to the winner. Concept was to take women who were relatively new to the game and really build them up from scratch with intensive lessons and then this incredible opportunity. And let me tell you, they really stepped up. Here is what you were playing for a platinum pass for $30,000.
I can't believe I just won that platinum pass. I have no idea how that even happened. It feels like a blur. Oh no, my heart was racing, my adrenaline was going. I was like, hey, I kept saying, calm down, calm down. Oh my God, I am so excited. It's so surreal.
I started playing more online, consuming a lot more poker content, and then eventually had the crazy idea of starting up a stream and a YouTube channel myself.
We need to know the David K story. What is your origin story, David? Where did you come from? How did you get into poker? What is your background?
Yeah, so I've grown up and lived in the United States my whole life, specifically the state of Michigan. I started playing poker in 2010 with a bunch of my high school friends, just a simple like $5 home game. Somebody had watched the World Series of Poker on TV, and we all got hooked to play for the whole summer. Eventually went off to college, started playing like small and micro stake tournaments online on PokerStars back when the US was in the player pool with everybody. Right before that had to go away, unfortunately. And from there, just kind of played mostly small stakes tournaments. and then eventually kind of transition into live cash games, which I got more into. That was about through 2020, and then obviously COVID changed the world and shut the world down, which is kind of where a lot of this like kind of started. So at that point, I started playing more online, consuming a lot more poker content, and then eventually had the crazy idea of starting up a stream and a YouTube channel myself. And then, just played mostly cash games, some tournaments from there. I still had a full-time job at the point and no plans of ever playing poker, doing content full-time. It was just like purely like a COVID lockdown project to do like the streaming stuff. And then it just picked up quite a bit. The regulation in the US was picking up, specifically in Michigan where I was at. And then probably like 13, 14 months later, I decided to go full-time with poker and content. And then a little over a year later, here we are officially signing with PokerStars, which is truly a dream come true. It's really exciting.
I mean, that's obviously an incredible synopsis of many years. So let's just go back and pick out some of the key story points.
Good call.
When you say you transitioned into live cash games, forgive me for not really knowing about the live poker scene in most parts of America. Is that still in Michigan, or do you have to go kind of further afield to play live poker?
It's still in Michigan. We don't have necessarily like the high stakes cash games for live. So there's a lot of like 1-2 or 2-5. So like the biggest cash game you can play is usually about $1,000 buy-in. For the most part, if you want to play like bigger stakes than that, there's a few places across the country for live poker, but Michigan's not really one of them for that. But it worked well for what I was doing at the time. Again, I was just playing for fun as a hobby. I took it serious, but obviously not like at a professional level. So it's not like I should be playing like high stakes at that point. But it was enough to, have like a really good hobby, make some side income on the side, and, just a overall great thing to do in my free time.
What was it that you left behind when you decided to go to full-time streaming?
Yeah, so for the 5 years previously, I'd worked in data. So basically job titles would be like data specialist, data administrator. So tasks would range anywhere from stuff as simple as like data entry, data integrity, up to more like complex stuff. They'd be like data analysis, data governance. So for 4 of the years, I worked with a manufacturing company. And then for 1 year, I worked with a medical board.
I mean, this is a perfect background for being an online poker player. You're just a huge numbers nerd.
Exactly. The data comes through quite a bit, especially when you're just doing like a lot of studying and like understanding and kind of like pattern recognition, I think is the biggest thing. So like when you see the numbers starting to tell a story, you jump to it right away. So there's definitely some crossover between the two for sure.
Sounds like Severance when you say pattern recognition, where you're just like, oh yeah, the numbers will look scary to you and you have to remove them. Okay, so studying, you're a bit of a student as well. You're not just out there clowning around. Would you say that your streams are more strategy based or personality based or both?
I would definitely say more towards the strategy based. I would say I'm like, when I'm playing poker, I would say I'm pretty serious. We still have fun in the Twitch chat, but I'm definitely like a very competitive person. And although I'm definitely not a perfect poker player, I try my best to do as good as I can. And, I do take the game very seriously and try to do the best. So I would say it's very strategy based, but, we like to have a laugh. A big thing on our stream is everybody loves to slow roll me. So that's a huge thing we like to do. And then, I get to slow roll some friends to stream back if they give me the green light. So, most of it's pretty serious strategy stuff, but we do like to have some fun as well.
A couple of key questions to kind of get a sense of the state of things right now. We'll talk about poker in America in just a moment. Let's talk about the state of Twitch poker. And a lot of people are drawing attention to the broadcast that Lex did recently, where he talked very openly about how his relationship with Twitch has changed, his attitude toward Twitch has changed. Do you think, based on what he was saying there, that poker on Twitch has a future?
Yeah, I think anything with content creation and Twitch and YouTube, it's still such a new genre. Like the idea that, Twitch has been around for, I'm not exactly sure, but it's within the last 10 years, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
That's still really new. There's not a lot of data to go back on. So in the new market like this, there's a lot of unpredictability. Like we don't know. Obviously, there's the scare for the moment with poker on Twitch, but, I think that part was obviously you don't want that situation to come up to begin with, but I think in a odd way, kind of a win in the sense of that they recognize poker is different from other gambling games.
Yeah. Correct.
Which, so I mean, even though you didn't want that situation to happen with, the fact that they differentiated the two, I think is a massive win for poker. What it means on the platform going in the future, my guess is as good as anybody's. But I feel pretty confident that, like if something were to happen with Twitch, there's other places to pivot live streaming content. It's a huge reason why I've been really active on YouTube is in case something happens on the Twitch side, as long as YouTube content is making sure to kind of, not putting all my eggs in one basket in a sense and just kind of diversifying within that sense because there's so much unpredictability really.
Pocket fours under the gun. He raises to 45,000. Finger and Trinovsky are folded. Seidel's on the button, and we haven't seen his hole cards.
Come on, Seidel. Grow a beard. Also show us your hole cards.
Well, whatever he has, he thinks it's worth a call on the button. Martin Jakobsen in the big blind has ace-7 offsuit.
You've probably got no choice but to defend a medium ace here, even though you can't love it.
He calls as well. We're going three-way to the flop. And that flop has a 4 on it. A set for Coleman.
What's Martin doing? He should be checking here. This is bad timing.
He leads the flop for 77,000.
I like a flat call here from Coleman because I think Martin's donk leading this flop with a bad hand way more often than a good one. So if Dan raises, he probably gets 2 folds way too often, which you don't want. You want Martin to keep bluffing.
Coleman does just call. And Seidel folds. We'll never know what he had. 10 on the turn. Jakobsen now with a gut shot.
Martin's probably never going to get a fold here unless the board runs out so badly for 4s that it makes his hand actually win.
He's betting again with just 9% equity. 155,000.
There's not much more reason for Dan to fold now than there was on the flop. 7-8 got there.
Once again, Coleman just calls. 627,000 in the middle. 1 card to come. And that card is a king. A set of 4s are good.
Yeah, I don't think Dan's ever folding. Hopefully Martin just gives up.
He bluff shoves.
Or he just blasts off. Probably not going to work.
Quick call from Coleman. And Jakobsen's out.
Yeah,
got me, yeah.
Let me just calmly take a second before exiting this 50K tournament.
Martin Jakobsen, the eternal bridesmaid on the European Poker Tour.
Good luck, guys.
That was nice. That was a gift.
It was sick. Sick. I've never seen him doing something like this.
Yeah. That was ambitious.
Huh?
That was ambitious. You don't get to do stuff.
Well, Joe, it's time for you to step inside Urbanovic's brain. We're going to sweat with Dimitri on this hand.
Looking forward to it. This kid could do anything except have a legal drink in America.
Well, he's raised with 8-5 of spades. Gilles is counting out a raise. He makes it 575,000.
We're folding. He's Polish, he's no fish, and he's in position. Couldn't make it work for suited.
That's a call. So 1.17 million in the pot already. The flop is King Jack 8 with 2 spades. Bottom pair and a flush draw for Urbanovic.
I mean, you really can't ask for a better flop than that. I think he almost smiled even.
Berniers continues. 625,000.
How much?
625.
I would probably just call here in case Berniers is just messing around. If you do anything more than that, you can get away from it.
That's a raise to 1.475 million. Is this a raise with the intention of folding if Bernier shoves?
I doubt it. I think if he does have it, we're going to see it go in here, and if that happens, we are probably behind. What do you think, Sven?
All in.
There's the shove and a call.
Not much. But
Yeah, I'll say it's better. We are not behind.
nice hand.
Bernius has 4 deuce.
Well, I was wrong, but this time it's in a good way.
Yeah, I don't get it either, guys.
You better tell your boy to geel out.
Well, the turn is a 7. That means Bernius is drawing dead.
Nice hand. Thank you.
Abanovic doubles up and reclaims the chip lead.
I think Bernier's lack of experience is starting to show.
Come on, 4 deuce.
Love the attitude, though. You're going to be rich either way.
At least everybody knows now that I'm fish, you know?
Don't worry, dude. Dimitri's a 20-year-old millionaire. He thinks everybody's a fish.
Makes it 64,000 to play. He has ace deuce offsuit. Vanessa Selbst has 7-5 suited.
This would be an awfully light call, so I think typically if Vanessa's playing this hand, she's 3-betting it.
No, she's calling.
String calling.
Siva folds the button. Gruesome in the small blind will also pass. Antonio gives up the big blind. We're off to the flop. And it's Jack 4 deuce with 2 clubs.
Pretty good flop for Doc. Pairs his kicker, has the backdoor flush draw, got the wheel draw.
He continues for 84,000.
Now Vanessa's gonna go for the raise when she's missed completely.
Interesting. 233,000 total.
Presumably because she just called last time before the flop with a huge hand. Hey Miranda, this is what it looks like when your fiance punts. Doc is going nowhere.
He calls the raise. And with 659,000 in the middle, we're off to the turn, which is the queen of clubs. Sands now with the nut flush draw to go with his pair, albeit bottom pair.
Such a good card for Doc, and subsequently a terrible one for Vanessa to continue her bluff.
Sands has checked to her.
No, boy, it's 4th and 25, and Vanessa is bringing in the kicker.
She bets 347,000 with absolutely nothing.
Now, don't get me wrong, this is a heck of a stone bluff. Unfortunately, Doc's got a hand that just always has massive equity against Vanessa's range. A lot of the time, she's going to be monkeying around, and worst case scenario, he's never drawing dead.
He calls the bet. The pot is now over 1.35 million. Vanessa is the effective stack. She has 1.1 million behind.
And she is going to have to empty the clip on the river, and even that might not work. Did I say might not work? I meant definitely won't work.
Yes, she's paired her 5, but it's the 5 of clubs. The stone cold nuts for Doc Sands, and he checks it.
She can empty the clip all she wants. She is firing blanks. Better just throw down your guns and come out with your hands up.
I'm all in.
Call. She bluff shoves the river.
You're good.
Snap. The nuts are good.
Just nothing. Nice hand. Yeah, ace jack with ace clubs.
Vanessa Selbst is out.
Again.
Wicked good check by Sands on the end.
And Vanessa misses the money by just 2 spots.
Hey, what is she doing?
He checked and she just shifted.
That's going to look worse on TV than it actually was.
So close to the final table, yet so far.
Hello, my babies, and welcome back to the Poker Stars European Poker Tour. Live coverage from EPT Prague 2022, the main event final table from King's Casino inside the Hilton Prague. Started today with 4 players, and we are now still threads up. Istvan Pilhofer, Antoine Saut, and Jordan Saccucci being the 3 players on the felt. And the 3 players in the booth, I am Joe Stapleton. To my left is Nicholas Walsh.
Hello, hello.
And to my right is Sam Grafton.
Hi.
A man of few words in this case. He'll be saying more later on.
I know.
before we went to break, we saw Istvan Pilhofer double up once from an 18 big blind stack, has now dwindled down back to 21 at this new blind level, which is 125, 250, 250. Jordan Saccucci still on top. Saud had the chip lead for a little while here and there, off and on, but Saccucci has reaffirmed his dominance with 20 million in chips.
Yeah, I mean, he's been the chip leader for the majority of this final table, right? Been in the, as you say, in the dominant position. And still the favourite to take down that huge €1 million first prize. It's just always good to see 7 figures up top in one of these things. Really huge numbers.
2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5, 6.
No talk of deal has taken place yet, and I assume that if there were to be talk of deal, it's probably not happening with Pilhofer in this bad of shape.
Yeah, I think Anton is going to feel very confident three-handed here. I would be surprised if he looked to do a deal with these guys. That's just my take on it. Just we imagine the pedigree of someone that's made it to the World Series final table and been under this kind of pressure before, and very few players in the world are as experienced as Antoine. So while he's still got chips, he'll really fancy his chances.
250 and 250.
Yeah. All right. Dealer has asked for some blinds. That means we're getting back underway. Wow. And cards are in the air for hand number 67 of our final day of coverage from EPT Prague 2022.
There's only been 67 hands in the whole EPT. That's the correct number. More.
And Pilhofer folding the button there. Queen 7 of hearts on the tighter side. Obviously looking at some of the bigger stacks behind him. Doesn't want to get mixed up. Little blind v blind action now. Saccucci, King 3 of hearts.
Just gotta double check.
Double checking the call. Excuse me, it is a raise after all. 550.
We only know one of Saud's cards, the 4 of hearts. Does appear to have
1.7.
a decision.
Raise 1.7.
I feel like it's the ace of clubs.
Huh. And Saud picks up a very nice pot right off the bat, adding more than $500,000 to his stack. Pilhofer still seems a bit dejected with his run of cards so far today.
Yeah, it's just important you remember where you are. This is a great situation to be in. Three-handed. You know, so many times you see the short stack rise to the ascendancy and take this title.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shouldn't be dejected at all.
Deuces for a Saud.
Yeah, and probably just play this as a shove. Would imagine.
Does shove into the 20 big blind stack. And Pilhofer makes the call with ace-9. We're flipping potentially for third place.
Huge moment for Pilhofer here. Absolutely a shove every time for Saud. Absolutely a call every time for ace-9. Pretty standard spot, blind v blind, three-handed.
Like soccer versus football. One of these two things has a slight mathematical advantage.
That's right. I know, it just sounds like I know that's how you say it, but it sounds like it.
Yeah. Big day for France all round.
That's right. I'm glad Saccucci's just as immature as I am hearing people yell ass.
I love it, it's funny.
And that is a pretty decisive flop in favor of Saud. Pilhofer, if you ran this 100 times, would only win it 3 of them.
8 or 7?
There's a 7.
Okay.
Looking for a straight card on the turn for any hope at all. turn is a full house for Saud. That is it for Pillhofer.
Yeah, GG, sir.
Nice play with you.
Huge achievement to come third in an EPT. Lot of money locked up.
My friend.
The Hungarian hotelier should hold his head high.
Want to play it out? Sorry? You want to play it out?
Well, just a moment of silence in the commentary to let that alliteration
That was a
resonate.
sick alliteration, by the way.
Ocean.
Yeah.
470,000 euros
The best players
for the former pro.
a bit of money. Do you want to give a bit, or you want to do just chips?
You want to go through chips and then play for the trophy? How does it work?
No, I want extra. So
you want what?
Extra money. If we do a deal, I will take a bit more.
This might be a foreign concept to Jordan Saccucci.
Yeah.
No problem.
Talking about a deal, and Antoine's saying,
If you want to talk, you have to do it on cameras because it's part of the
Yeah, I know.
Okay, that's
No problem, no problem.
Antoine wants a little bit more due to his
That's
experience
yeah.
and his perceived skill level. Look, Antoine's like, I know how this works. I'm going to move the chair over there. It's not my first rodeo.
He's like, camera 3, you're in the wrong position. Yeah, director, could we get the lights up a little bit here?
Yep. Okay, so the chip count is confirmed for the...
Which box do you set he's going to use?
How much chips do you have?
7.
So he already knows. He already knows which box they're
This
using.
is like a little behind-the-scenes episode of the PokerStars broadcast. We're getting TDs. We're getting discussion. Love this.
Awesome.
Yeah, Anton's going to drop in. He's going to be like, when I was at the World Series final table with Phil Ivey, I also discussed a deal. Then when I was there the second time,
Look, guys, Antoine really needs to see that World Cup, so if we could just get into box number 7 right now and get this kicked off, that'd be fantastic. If you want to do a deal, I want more. Anyway, let's carry on. Go.
Okay. I take this and you take this tab.
just to provide some context for viewers, I'm sure people know, this isn't a completely unorthodox position that Antoine's taking. You know, if you do perceive that you have a skill edge, you are the better player in a heads-up spot, it's not ridiculous to ask for a small amount of money.
Sure.
You know, which would be in the region of 1%, 2%. It's not, you know, Antoine isn't going to be saying, I would like 10% more. Edges, even against a weaker player, are very small. But he would, you know, rather than the exact worth of his chip stack,
right,
he would want Jordan to give up a little bit amount of money. And of course, they do have to continue playing no matter what for an amount of money, just because of the prestige, the heritage of the EPT. You know, we to some extent insist on them continuing to play for some money.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely must play for that trophy, guys. Take a look at the chip stacks there. And, of course, the payouts now as well. 1.054 million for first place. They are going to talk about a deal now. They are going to have that conversation. I always enjoy this part, Sam. We actually had a really, really good... we had amazing coverage from Barcelona when they did that hilarious deal talk with Antonio... sorry. What was his first name? Ben Dinelli's first name? Giuliano, thank you. I was saying Antonio. Giuliano.
That's what I'm saying is basically I get brought out whenever there's kind of like a random fact from the EPT archives that needs to be tabled.
I remember it well.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the MIDI one, Tom Middleton one, where there was discussion of a deal and then it fell through.
Yeah, the other players at that final table feeling very wrong, seeing his hands had been shaken, everything had been agreed, and then Fraser McIntyre comes along and ruins everything.
Yeah, those deal conversations were fantastic in Barcelona. I really enjoyed that, and it's all part of the drama here at the EPT.
They're bringing out Toby Stone.
Nice tie, Toby.
With his calculator.
I mean, back in the day, Toby Stone would have a laptop. Now, we're in the 21st century. He's got a phone.
Okay.
The only thing is we have to pay for a percentage remaining.
Okay.
Already calculated.
It's around about 10%. That's after paying you both second place. You have 40,000.
How does that work? I'm lost.
So this is the total prize money.
Yeah.
First and second are both already guaranteed 658. So you take 2 from that, from everything, which leaves about 40,000. this number in yellow here.
So it's like playing
so that's
for the...
what's remaining.
That would play for
after
the
we've
40,000 in the trophy.
Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, you don't have to play for 40, you can adjust that.
Yeah,
You can go down a little bit, or you can play for 60 or 80 or 100,
Yeah.
as much as you like. But that's the minimum that we've
I don't mind. It's pretty much even, but...
Yeah, but so 40, what does it mean? You have this number?
Yeah.
One, so it's 8 for...
What would the actual number be split? And 8?
So you want the...
No, just
Do you want an RCM?
for the moment, yeah, just to see, and
RCM
after...
somewhere?
Because, I don't know.
Yeah, and so they're going to start off by getting, I mean, chips and ICM are exactly the same at this point, but they're going to find out how much their stack is worth each.
Okay with that.
And that's going to be the figure that you would sort of settle on if you were exactly evenly matched. And then Antoine has indicated he may ask for Saccucci to give up.
Yes.
Saccucci to give up a little bit of money.
So this
You can bring someone to the table, but you have to have the...
I mean, John Saccucci highlighted, Sam, that it's pretty even. There is an argument for basically saying whatever prize money you decide to deal with, just chop it in two, and then the question's about what you're still playing for.
He's only a million.
Yeah, so a few things. But look at this, they're allowed one consultant brought in.
40,000, so we split the money.
Phone a friend.
40 and a trophy. Yeah, I'm okay with that, but yeah, it's up to him.
It's quite nice to bring in, you know, there's a lot of emotion around when you're playing and you're deep in it, to get a little bit of advice from someone who's a bit more objective.
He's only up by 1 million?
I'm up by 1 million.
Yeah, as you already said, though, Sam, Saud probably does have a considerable edge at this stage, especially having seen slightly tighter, more passive play from his opponent on this final table so far. And obviously, heads up, you need to be so much more willing to play a wider range. You know, it really does not
Like, I'm not sweating it.
help to not have that wider range of play once you get to this stage in the tournament.
Là, j'attends de savoir le chiffre exact. Et après ça, je demande plus. Et on joue pour plus.
Maybe this will be the outcome of the World Cup. Maybe Messi and Mbappe, they'll come to arrive at some deal. Hey, bro, like, let's just...
Ah non, ouais, trop plus.
That's why. If you don't want to be stubborn about it, I'm just going to play like it. It makes no difference for me.
Parce que rien.
I'm not going to cry about it. You know what I mean?
3% sur ça?
Yeah.
Non, même pas. Si, quand même,
Yeah, and Saccucci just sort of waiting to see what Antoine comes in with the offer. Also, yeah, just, you know, we see that he's just less experienced about this. As I said, not making it all about me, but I played with Antoine on the final table a couple of months ago, and there he also chopped the tournament. This is a kind of regular thing for him. Another day at the office, obviously not chopping something this magnitude. And here comes Toby with some
now things are serious, because now we've got the HP laptop. We're not dealing with phones anymore.
To confirm I haven't made a mistake, but that's what you have to play for, more or less. That's 10% of remaining after you've both got second place. Jordan, 19,450. Antoine, 18,350. ICM chip chop is the same. So this would be a pure split based on that with 40,000 remaining. You can adjust that a little bit, that's not a problem. I'm going to give you a few minutes to look at that. And in the interest of getting the move game, I'll come back to you in a few minutes.
I mean, we're talking about edge here, Sam. If they leave enough behind to play for, then that will be the decider anyway, right? You know, you kind of go, okay, well, if we leave enough after we do a sort of straight split at this point, then my theoretical skill should sort of play out a little more
your
often.
edge is obviously just in EV, so it's like 2% of 40K that is your edge rather than...
I don't mind. I'm not, you know...
He's okay with this.
Even if it was vice versa, I don't mind. It's up to you, my friend.
He's only up by a little bit of chips because they're practically even. Split the prize money and play for the trophy and the remaining.
So if they chop the prize money exactly, that would be Saccucci giving up a little bit of edge.
It would be, and I think he's happy to do that. I think what they're going to discuss, I guess, is whether the set-aside is the minimum, which is 40,000, or whether they will play for more than 40K.
C'est ce que je réfléchis, ou 150. Là, il y a déjà 70, si on prend genre 800 chacun, ça ferait 73 à jouer. Ou alors, on peut faire 125, donc 73.
There will come a point, by the way, and I know that some people watching are like, get on with it. There will come a point when Toby will say words to that effect and say, you need to make a decision. Either you're doing a deal or we're playing on, but we can't stand here forever.
Yeah, Toby's good at that. He has to crack the whip once in a while. We saw some of that in Barcelona, in fact. That went on for some time, that deal negotiation.
Ok. Ah, j'ai oublié les 40 là. Ou 800. 800 chacun et ça fait 100 à jouer.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, on the other side of it, you know, this is real money that these guys are chopping up, and a lot of it.
To play for something, so I'm seeking out the number. Maybe we can take 8 each and play for the like 140, I think.
There you go.
If that's what you want to do, that's fine.
8 each and play for 140 instead of this?
Yes.
70.
I think it's going to be about 112, 100.
Well, no.
So they're saying lock up 800k each.
73.
And then they're going to be playing for like near enough 3 times the minimum.
Yeah.
Like 140k, is that what he said?
No,
Something
it's not going to be. There's not 140. It's going to be like close to 112.
Okay.
Ah, yes, yeah, no, it's
Why don't
yeah,
you guys
correct.
just make it a cool 100,000 play for in the trophy? That way the numbers is very simple.
If you want, it makes it easier. I can change that 40,000 to what you want to play for, and then these numbers are going to be correct again. If that makes it easy for you, trying to make the deal, I can just change this to 100,000.
Ouais, non, mais après on va le changer, t'inquiète.
He's just saying, take all the difference on the balance, 800 each flat, which is okay, and then
change this number right here.
No, but he's saying 8, 42 plus 70 is 73 and change. Add that to that, so the balance will just.
Quite sick to see two guys just chopping up 1.5 million or whatever it is. It's quite an amazing.
It's about 1,713,000.
Yeah, it's just.
I'm kind of
dreaming. You obviously become a bit desensitized to the money.
You do.
Both as a viewer, because we see this quite often, and like those guys in the moment. But it's quite a.
I think, you know,
Yeah, I mean, these moments in your career, final tabling an EPT, playing for this amount, like it's such a big decision, and you're being forced to make it on a stage and under a time limit.
Added to that, and we get 800 each and play for 130, I think it is, or something. If my math is right. What is it? No, it's 170. 30. Oh, yeah, sorry, 110. You're right. My apologies.
Oops, loud. It's around about 5 minutes you've had now, so I'm going to pressure you into coming to a decision, if you don't mind.
Are you okay to give a bit more?
Brother,
yeah, no, like
listen.
What's a bit more? No, just 15k.
Okay, on top of this?
Wow.
So
his advisor stepped in.
I think he wants 15,000 more. I don't get why, but just I'm willing to take your balance and play for it. Like 15,000, brother. This is 800.
Okay. So
why we squeeze each other for 15,000?
8
and then take the balance and throw it there and we pay for it.
So
Okay, deal agreed, guys.
What do you want to do so we can just check those cards?
So they are going to take 800,000 euros each,
and we pay for the
and they're still going to be playing for 113,250. That is not an inconsiderable amount of money, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. First prize in a lot of tournaments here, even at the EPT.
Play for the rest.
Correct.
Okay.
And I think this makes
800 each. Play for the rest.
makes some sense. Antoine's got a little over the worth of his stack.
Okay. All right, then.
We get to watch a very significant heads-up battle, and both of these guys will walk away with huge scores, as they deserve from this amazing run they both put together, and we get back to the action. So
of course, and just to highlight, the minimum they could have played for was 40k. They've decided they're going to play for 113k, so they are still playing for a 6-figure score. They're playing for the title and trophy, but they've also each locked up 800 grand. Not bad for a few days' work.
Yeah, and I'm sure Antoine as well. We already highlighted a lot of the performances he's had in his career. I don't necessarily associate him with a major title. Certainly, of course, not won anything as big as EPT Prague. If he wasn't to win, you know, he still had an amazing and will continue to have a remarkable career. But I bet he would love to put a sort of cherry on top of this, you know, 10, 12, 15-year career that he's had with an EPT title. And on the other hand, of course, Jordan, you know, to come over from Canada as an amateur, compete with the best in the world, and fly back home with an EPT title. And you know, we always love to see amateurs come to a foreign country and claim a big prize. It should be very meaningful to both of them, aside from the significance of another further 110,000.
So pray tell, Nicholas, how many micro-stakes grinders are declaring that they would never deal, that they would play for it all, that this has now ruined it?
Pretty much 30% of chat has that opinion. I've done the poll. A minimum of 30%. No, this is exciting stuff, as Sam's already explained. I mean, we don't need to impress upon you guys the significance of this heads-up match, despite the fact they've done a deal, still playing for that trophy, and it's just such an important part of, you know, such an important part of these events to play for that trophy and all the prestige that goes with it. It's it really is the cherry on top, as Sam said.
Okay, so obviously play held up during those deal negotiations. Now the deal has been agreed. We can play on. Oh, no, Toby's back with another spreadsheet.
That's exactly what it is. Sounds good. Right.
Just confirming, they are playing for 113,250 euros, having both locked up 800k each. And we are going to carry on at the...
That's fine here.
Current blind level, having lost Pilhofer in third place about 20 minutes ago. Now this heads-up battle begins.
Yeah, and pretty deep stacked as well. Obviously, you can get heads-up in a whole variety of circumstances, but there'll be some decent amount of play here, you would imagine.
I love that, John on Twitch. They can have a laugh now. I mean, I don't know the last time you played heads up for 100k, but I'd still be taking it relatively serious.
Yeah, I mean, of course, some of the tension is released.
Yes,
just because,
of course.
You know, during the final, maybe I just speak for myself, but you kind of avoid thinking about just quite how much money you're playing for, and then when the deal is done, you realize, okay, I've achieved a lot here. 100k, yeah, is indeed a lot of money, though. And of course, that EPT title, I mean, it really is something you always remember about. And Anton going to go on, yeah, calling the race with five deuce. Yeah, makes sense.
So ace, ace, 8 on the flop, so defending with 5 deuce. Saccucci ahead right now with king high.
Bet 400.
A bet and a fold.
Sorry.
And Saccucci moves over the 20 million mark. Confirmation of the deal agreed. The advertised payouts were a milli, 658k for the runner-up. Both have locked up 800 grand. Playing for the trophy you can see in the center of your screen, plus 113,250 euros. Worth highlighting, by the way, guys, that they are still pretty deep, and playing for the sum of money that they're playing for and the significance of an EPT title, still no guarantee this gets done before the football.
I wonder if Anton will start turbo acting as the impending kickoff approaches.
Yeah.
So that's it. Too late. I'm blind shoving now.
Well, AJ Fig on YouTube has a theory. If Soot wins, France will win the World Cup. If Soot loses, France will lose the World Cup.
No pressure then,
It's
Anton.
all or nothing for France.
Yes. The Kylian Mbappe and the French team railing this final to see where the momentum is.
Absolutely.
It will be a big
omen.
I mean, Imagine you ring up your old friend Antoine. You hadn't heard from him for a while. Hey, buddy, how you doing today? Oh, nice little day. I woke up, had breakfast. They had croissants. I won an EPT main event final, and then France won the World Cup. It was a good day.
Yeah, not a day that you'll ever forget, that's for sure. Yeah. Look at this from the graphics team. It's both the small blind and the button. That is correct. I've not seen it like that before.
Don't worry, Sam. We've only been doing it for like, you know, a decade on most of the TV shows that you've played on.
Has it always
It's always been that, buddy. Yeah, yeah.
Wow, so with some much wider defense here, Sam. So far, we've seen the 5 deuce off. Now Jack 3 off.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I mean, what are the blinds? It's 200K blind or 250? Was it just a straight min?
Yep, straight min.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, what a flop, by the way, for the 10-8 of spades. Saccucci started off with king-queen. Now a straight flush draw. Had pocket kings and got it done pretty quickly. And
yeah, we're still at the 125,000, 250,000 blind level, with most of this level still to play.
He's going to have to be careful against Antoine. I believe that he opened slightly larger with the king-queen. Just, you know, got to remember he's playing against a very, very astute, you know, live pro. Obviously, Antoine does played with him on Stars, a decent amount, but primarily known for his live exploits.
Yeah, those subtle differences will quickly become a sizing read if he's not careful. Sizing tell, I should say.
Cool.
Little limp on the button here for the Jack 4 off. And Saccucci going to check behind in the big blind 5-4 off.
King 10-7 on the flop. Jack high, still the best hand.
Check. Bet. 350 pounds.
Non. C'est quoi, les blindes 500 000.
Antoine Suit has a pretty comfortable stack of time bank cards, should he need to go into the tank for any long period of time.
Yeah, the action so quick on this final with the characters we had. Everyone acting very, very, very quickly. And it's continued in the heads-up battle.
Saccucci now with the ace-5 off on the button. Coming in with the call, very interesting. At this stack depth, I'd expect this to see I'd expect to see a lot more raises from the button, Sam, generally speaking. We are on the deeper side.
850.
Raise, 850.
And the ISO from Saud versus the limp, 850K and a call.
Saccucci with the best hand pre and the best hand post. Pairs his ace.
Yeah, Saccucci having played this hand very unconventionally, Sam. I do expect that we're going to see Saud repping that ace now. Probably not going to put as much ace-X in Saccucci's limping range at this stage in the tournament, at this effective stack depth.
Cool.
Yeah, nice turn for Saccucci. Little bit of extra backup in case for some reason he was beat. And so just hoping to take it down pre, and then just wanting to sort of fold out a 10-8 suited, a 9-10 on the flop. It's going to slow down and going to be frustrated to see Saccucci bet in position. We're kind of hoping maybe he could just check down against the same type of folding at king high. One problem is, yeah, well, he does call. He does call, and
Check.
Checks it.
And Saccucci,
Bet.
really nice from Saccucci to to have a sense of exactly where he is in the hand. This is, you've got to be a little bit careful about opening out the action to potential check raises for such a small size. But he is correctly value betting. And if Sahut doesn't think that he can value bet an ace or doesn't have, then, you know, not good to have the 7 of hearts in hand, but does he just beat a hand like 6-5 of hearts?
Right.
Or,
exactly,
you know, 5-7 of hearts, Jack 9 of hearts. That's why Antoine is having a little think here.
Right.
I think we just have like 2 kings, let's say, would be, or king 3, just to sort of making those 7-5 suited, 7-9 suited just a little bit more clean, a bit more like, again. But it's a real thought. And Antoine also going to just have a look at his man and make an assessment.
It's really conflicting on the river, right, Sam? Because I feel like you are beating the flush draw still, and given the fact he played his hand as a limp pre-flop, he's kind of not repping an ace.
He's getting an insane price.
Exactly.
As well.
But then also I was going to say that smaller sizing on the river doesn't scream bluff, doesn't it? It doesn't exactly scream, I've got 6-5 of hearts and I really want to fold. So very, very tricky spot. I totally appreciate why the call was there. And yeah, fair play.
And that's
widening.
Absolutely. That's a very significant gap all of a sudden, by the way. I know he started as a slight chip favorite, but 24 to 13. Putting some distance between them, and 100 big blinds, a lot of comfort in that stack. And you know, this is.
Do you like Chanel?
Sorry?
Do you like Chanel? You
Yes.
do?
Where is this going?
After I want to turn the Chanel store into a hangout, huh? Drink some champagne.
Oh dear. Well, let's get back to the strat for a moment.
please do.
Yeah, I mean, Antoine, which you know, of course, have spoken a lot about his
by the way,
experience, his confidence, and such like, and but you know, deviated a little bit, raising, you know, a hand which I think a lot of players would be comfortable to just check back. And got himself in a little bit of a pickle. It does show some of the downsides to trying to, you know, walk on water and do unorthodox things. And again, Anton on the wrong end. Wow, Saccucci. Very confident to check raise, top pair, without any backup. And Anton will continue with the 4. Not loving it. Wonder. Again, in sort of standard play, you would just check down this 4. Again, this is just going to look a little strange to suit. I think he'll just fold with just the bottom pair.
But another part slides in Saccucci's direction.
Yeah, and you know, we spoke about edges in heads up. One of the reasons you just can't ever have a big edge is if your opponent makes 2 pair, top pair each and every time. I mean, the variance is just absolutely insane here. I don't think Anton could have won any of these hands. Like, no one's ever folding ace 5 on ace deuce deuce 3. No one's folding queen 7 on king queen jack 7 4. You know, you're just making the second best hand. It's very, very hard.
Yeah, just really hard to get away from some spots when you get heads up, right? You know, otherwise you just get exploited too frequently. When we see these heads up situations, you make a middle pair, your opponent has top pair, you're just doing chips every time, you know, very frequently.
And here we go, it continues.
Check.
Best hand pre-flop, best hand on the flop.
Making it look so easy right now.
Yeah, and also when you're faced with such, I mean, obviously the ace-5 did go to showdown. When your opponent's raising up and then betting, you think, okay, am I just getting bluffed every hand? I mean, what's going on? But yeah, Saccucci having it every time.
Saccucci just having a really stellar final table here. Had so many nice spots. And a couple lucky ones go his way as well.
And now has better than a 2-1 advantage over Antoine Sote, who's dropped down to 11.4 million.
Wow, that really went quickly.
I mean, still, of course, 40 big blinds, which is relatively deep, and again allows you.
Right, 7 plus.
Snap fold from Jordan. I wonder what he had there.
So about to deal the 77th hand of the day. Having come back for this final day with 4 of the 9 finalists. Junabara eliminated on the first hand of the day. Istvan Pilhofer went out in the last half hour. Then the deal negotiations, both players locking up 800k. Now playing heads up for just over 100 grand in the trophy, and Saccucci raising here with ace-3. Pocket 6s for Sote.
Raise 2 million.
And Sote re-raises to 2 million.
Yeah, and this is a bit of an uncomfortable spot for Saccucci. You could see him realizing he needs to defend a bit more heads up and that ace-3 has some strength, but also realizing...
Oh, he shoves on Sote.
Wow.
All in to call with 6s.
Wow. And this is a little out of character from what we've seen of Saccucci, and this is giving Sote pause. I think, oh, and he does call.
Wow, calls it off. And so, a favourite to double up through Saccucci and change the momentum in this heads-up battle. Sote a 70% favourite here, and just hoping that there isn't an ace on the desk.
Yeah, and an ace would just win this right now for Jordan.
It would indeed.
Huge moment for Antoine.
Saccucci has been running pretty hot. Don't call for outs when you're ahead, French people.
Amen.
The flop. Doesn't have an ace, just 2 3s on it. Trips for Saccucci.
Chanel store into a hangout. I asked Alex if she wanted to go to the Chanel store and turn it into a hangout. You know what I'm saying?
There's a 6.
Saccucci now nearly a 9-1 favourite to win it right here, right now.
Wow, that looked like it.
You need one that's round the other way, Antoine. Needs a 6 on the river, or this record-breaking EPT Prague main event is over, and Jordan Saccucci is going to lift the trophy. The river card. It's another 9. It's a boat for Saccucci, and he scores victory. Jordan Saccucci from Canada is the winner of the EPT Prague 2022 main event, winning a total of 913,000 euros, plus the main event trophy. Antoine Sote, by virtue of the deal they agreed heads up, still gets 800k. Another big score for him, another great result in his resume. But another final table, Sam, where he doesn't quite get the win.
No, absolutely. There'll be a little bit of disappointment, a little bit of sting for Antoine, who, of course, was, you know, a big part of this final table. But big congratulations to Jordan then. You know, lovely to see essentially an amateur player come out triumphant for a huge score, and an EPT title joins a long list of very worthy champions.
Antoine Sote will collect 800k, but yes, A huge score, more than $1 million Canadian dollars, roughly 1.3 million Canadian dollars for Jordan Saccucci, who is the last EPT main event champion of 2022. Besting a field of 1,267, the biggest field we've ever seen in an EPT Prague main event.
Getting some hugs from friends and family there. Big, beaming smile. It's such an amazing feeling to win any title, to hoist a trophy. You know, one of the great things that tournament poker offers, like makes it so popular, and because of this exact feeling, and then to win something with such heritage, such history, and a huge money prize as well connected with it. And also you get an interview from Joe Stapleton. I mean, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should throw in an extra grand for that, quite frankly. But 913,250 is what Jordan Saccucci will receive. 800K for Antoine Sote. Istvan Pilhofer cashing out earlier on for 470,500. Juno Barra, as we referenced, out on the first hand of the day, cashing for nearly 362 grand. And of course, let's also salute the other finalists, including Parker Tolbert. Tonka came 6th in Prague back in 2018, went one better this year for his best ever EPT result, 278K, 450. Also, congrats to Luigi Del Terrio, Peter Kalev, Javier Gomez, and Paul Adrian Kaviciu for making the final table. But there can only be one winner. His name is Jordan Saccucci. It's time to present that man with his trophy. He is down on the floor, on the main stage, with Joe Stapleton.
Jordan, I heard that last time you were in Prague, things didn't exactly go very well for you. It seems like things maybe went better this time?
Yeah, sure did. Last time wasn't, I had a bad run, but this time it was better.
And I have to say, watching you over the last couple of days, you had a very cool, composed demeanor. Didn't really seem to, get involved the same way that all the pros did. Was it as easy as it looked?
No, it was a roller coaster, ups and downs. Got lucky a couple of times, but it was good. I enjoyed it. I had fun. That was first.
And how about the money? Is that going to make for a little bit more interesting holiday season?
Yeah. Just keep grinding, I guess, right?
He's going to keep grinding. He just won €1 million. He's going to keep grinding, though. Hey, everybody, let's get a big round of applause for EPT Prague 2022 main event champion Jordan Saccucci.
Congratulations to Jordan Saccucci, and that will close out EPT 2022. A reminder that you should play the EPT Prague Mini main event later on, which will award an EPT Paris package. That'll be the first stop of EPT 2023. However, before that, we will be in the Bahamas. January the 25th is when we are next live on the PokerStars Twitch and YouTube channels. That is when you can watch 10 days of live coverage of the PCA main event and the second PokerStars Players No Limit Hold'em Championship. And I'd like to highlight, we did it! Near enough a full 2 hours before face-off on the soccer felt. So we will see you in the new year. In the meantime, have a fantastic Christmas and New Year. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage from here in the Czech Republic. From Sam Grafton, Nick Walsh, Griffin Benja, Maria Ho, Joe Stapleton, and me, James Hartigan, it's good afternoon from Prague.